CBS traffic center. We got a red sliver radar right now. What is this? Craig out.
That's the one we've been about just the last 20 minutes. This thing exploded into a heck of a cell with tremendous amounts of rainfall. So a flash flood warning is in effect, and a severe thunderstorm warning is in effect for portions of Somerset and Middlesex County. And then it moves on up beyond Union, Staten Island. It's moving towards Lower Manhattan. It's just about here in Lower Manhattan and stretching out into parts of Brooklyn and Queens. Eventually the Bronx will get into it too. That, as I said, developed in about 20 minutes time. 40 minutes ago, the whole thing just exploded, and now there's going to be a lot of trouble getting through that portion of New Jersey, getting across the Garden State, the Outer Bridge, as well as the Goethals. It's that whole general region, and then eventually on up towards the Verrazano. So showers and thunderstorms, some heavy to locally severe. Lows 67 to 72. The worst of this will come the first half of the night. There are additional lines behind this too, so while there will be a break, there's still that threat of a shower or thunderstorm at least through the first half of the night. Tomorrow, less humid, a little bit anyway, high 83 to 88, and then on Sunday, not a bad day at all, mixed sun and clouds. It's warm, but not too humid, with highs up around 85 on Sunday. Right now in the city, we had a shower before. We're watching this big one moving in, but the shower before dropped us down to 76, but brought the humidity up to 91%, Joe.
We are going to rock and roll tonight. Craig Allen, thank you. WCBS News Time 441. Philadelphia's mayor says he will stop sharing arrest data with Immigration and Customs Enforcement. Jim Kenney, who's a Democrat, says the city will not renew a contract with ICE after it expires at the end of next month. Kenney is accusing immigration officers of using the data to go after law-abiding residents, causing fear and distrust in the sanctuary immigrant community. WCBS News Time 441.
My mom has kind of an 80s thing, like a permanently stuck in the 80s thing. We're talking teased up feathered hair, acid washed denim jacket, and shoulder pads. So many shoulder pads. I tried to bring her up to speed, but after a week or so, it's just right back to the leg warmers. But I just got a new phone from AT&T, and check this out. It came with a second one for free. It's a perfect replacement for my mom's phone, which I'm not sure she can text on, if she even knew how. So I figured, why hide it? She loves her 80s TV, and this will totally help her stream all her favorite shows filmed in front of a live studio audience.
Come into an AT&T store, buy a smartphone, and get one on us. AT&T, or for a thing. That's our thing. Limited time and areas. Select devices. Each requires up to $900 on installment agreement. Requires one new line and minimum $75 per month service. Free after credits over 30 months, starting within 3 bills. If cancel service, device balance is due. $30 activation, additional fees, taxes, and restrictions apply. See your local AT&T store for details. Add us to your flash briefing. Ask your smart speaker to play WCBS 880. The time is 4:42. That's time for Sports First. Here's Rich Ackerman.
And Joe, the Yankees move on without Aaron Judge for the next month and look for back-to-back wins tonight when they continue their series against the Royals at the stadium. CC Sabathia makes his first start in about 2 weeks during the All-Star break when he goes up against Brad Keller. The Mets have won 3 in a row for the first time in months, and they look to extend the streak tonight in Pittsburgh. Jason Vargas has had a tough season so far, and he takes the mound for the first time since June 19th when he was crushed in Colorado. Former Yankee Ivan Nova will start for the Pirates. Mets have also come to terms with veteran outfielder Austin Jackson today. Sports First at 12 and 42 past every hour. I'm Rich Ackerman.
Plan. Visit SmithHaven.com or go to Smithhaven Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram, Jericho Turnpike, St. James, Smithtown. Remember, if it's not a Smithhaven deal, it's not a real deal. Summer clearance event. Offers from session for smoking and 18 from club to 24 tax and DMV fees.
For the absolute best food and catering for your summer party, call Kitchen Cabaret, proud partner of the WFAN and Yankee Radio Network Fan Fest. Serving Long Island for the past 50 years, Kitchen Cabaret is Long Island's premier caterer and favorite place to eat and shop. From Montauk to parts of New Jersey and Westchester, it's Kitchen Cabaret. The most delicious food and best-in-class catering, bar none. Kitchen Cabaret has it all. Gift baskets for all occasions, gourmet sandwiches, prepared foods, made-to-order omelets, gourmet pizza, sushi, salads, acai, bowls, fresh juices, and more. Kitchen Cabaret is without peer when it comes to delectable, mouth-watering food offerings. Choose only the best for your next family gathering. Kitchen Cabaret is located located just off the LAE at exit 39 with locations in Roslyn Heights and Bayshore. Give them a call at 516-484-3320. That's 516-484-3320 to place your order or log on to kitchencabaret.com. That's kitchencabaret with a K.com. Back here on Giant Day, we welcome in the defensive coordinator. Some coaches don't let the coordinator speak. Coach Sherman had no problem with it, which I liked. So we get the chance to chat with the new defensive coordinator, who's a very important figure here in the team. James Betcher, who comes from Arizona, where his team played terrific defense the last couple of years, top rated. But forget the statistics, played really well. They were tough, they were aggressive. That's what we like to see. Coach, welcome to the New York area. How are you?
Great. Blessed to be here. Thanks for having me on. And I'll tell you what, my family and I have been so welcome to this area. And we've, you and I were just talking about a little bit off the air. There's so many things to do in this area. There's so many great places to go, and there's such great schools. And there's just really good people, and we're really fortunate.
I know you've been in Arizona. Where are you from before that? Where you hail from? Where are you from?
My wife and I are both from Indiana.
Oh, Indiana.
Northern part of the state.
Okay.
Just outside of South Bend, I'm from.
Okay. Know it well.
Small town, Lakeville, Indiana.
Right.
Graduated about 78 people.
Where'd you go to college?
I went to a Division II school in Indiana, University of St. Francis.
Okay.
Yep, played college ball there, and that's where I started my coaching career.
Where was your first stop along the way coaching?
I worked for Kevin Donnelly there,
right.
the head coach I played for. Coach D's won over 300 games as a college head coach, and a great man to play for.
What did he run there? What system did he run?
We were a spread on offense.
Okay.
So, in defense, we were just pretty multiple and did a bunch of stuff. And
have you always been a defensive coach, or have you gone back and forth?
No, I coached the offensive line for 2 years in my career, and I've coached special teams as well at a couple different stops. But otherwise, I've always been on defense, and I've really coached every position. I've coached safeties, coached linebackers, outside backers, D-line, so I've coached a little bit of everywhere.
And done a very good job as the coordinator in Arizona last 3 years. Had one of the highly rated defenses and a very aggressive, good defense with some terrific players there, of course, on that defense. Coach, you know this, everyone, it's a different game now, and it's an explosive game, but this is a franchise that loves its defense. The fans love their defense. They can't get behind anything more than they get behind an aggressive defense. So that's what they love. What do you guys in store from this year with this defense?
Well, I'll tell you what, this offseason, unfortunately, things didn't work out in Arizona, and I'm really blessed to have an opportunity to present itself to come here and be a New York football Giant. And one of the things that you
went for a couple of head coaching jobs, as a matter of fact.
Yeah, we were, and we were just so blessed to have a chance to come be a New York football Giant. And the first thing that resonates with you is defense.
Absolutely, that's what they chant.
They say that, and as a coach, as a player in this league, if you want to coach somewhere on the defensive side of the ball, you want to play somewhere on the defensive side of the ball, you want to play for the New York football Giants.
That's it. Giants and the Bears. That'd be the two you think of. That's it. And here they chant defense. That's what their chant that they love is defense. That's what they care about. 56 was the most important number in the history of that stadium. That's it. LTs. That's it. And Giant defenses are part of their history. I mean, they really are. So good aggressive defenses are what Giant fans love.
We built in Arizona, we built it around the principles of being smart, fast, and physical.
Absolutely.
And the same things that we're talking around in our meeting room right now is being smart, fast, and physical, and playing with the game with a relentless mindset. And I think one of the things, I hope our fans recognize fast and early of our guys is that we're going to play really, really hard. And we're going to be very aggressive, and we're going to play downhill. And, I'm the kind of individual, I don't like getting things dictated to me,
right.
So maybe it's a little bit of my personality.
So you want to dictate terms?
Yeah, or my upbringing in this profession is, as much as we can, because, offense, they always get to chalk last,
right.
And as defensive players, that's what you know. As defensive coaches, that's what you know. But any chance you get to try to dictate, any chance you get to try to change the math, I said it to our guys yesterday that when we're playing against the run, it needs to look like they're playing with 9 and we're playing with 12 and 13.
Gotcha.
And that's how we need to make them feel. And when they turn our tape on, that's the kind of message our tape needs to send. And those aren't just words. That's like personal belief to the core for me. And it's really great to be here with these guys in this defensive locker room because they think the same way.
What was the key to your success? Obviously players too, and you had some good ones in Arizona, but what was the key? The last 3 years you've had one of the top defenses in the league statistically, and anyone who knows or watches the sport knows knows how aggressive your Arizona defenses have been. They've been tremendously aggressive in recent years. So what was you to be so successful out there with them in Arizona?
Well, I think you said it, you hit it on the head. I think players that just love to play the game. Love to put their helmet on every day, love to come in the building, love to work outside the building. When I say relentless defense, I don't just mean like when it's on Sundays or Monday night or Thursday night ball. We're talking about a Tuesday week 10 or Tuesday week 15 where the grind of the season is starting to wear a little bit, and we still have to do the things necessary for us to play at a high level, and that's outside the building, that's taking care of our bodies, that's being where our feet are in meeting rooms, being where our feet are in walkthroughs, and carrying those things over day by day, week by week. And the guys that we had there and the coaching staff I had there and the coach staff, Coach Shermer here is assembled on defense. It's the same guys cut from the same kind of cloth.
Drayton is a suspect in the strangulation of 29-year-old Samantha Stewart, whose body was found in her Springfield Gardens home last week. When police detained him, they say they found a woman being held captive in his L.A. hotel room. Police have asked anyone with information about Drayton to come forward. You can see his photo at 1010wins.com. Wednesday News Time 4:51. From the Ram Trucks Traffic Center, expanded traffic in transit for your rush hour commute. Here's Greg Rice.
Well, flooding a major factor on Staten Island as we see it on the jam cam, as we just tweeted out a picture of the eastbound Staten Island Expressway. 2 lanes are flooded out before the MLK. It's a standstill from the Goethals. Westbound Staten Island Expressway, you can get through just slowly, so this crawls from the outbound Gowanus across the Verrazano and all the way on the westbound Staten Island Expressway back towards the West Shore. Flooding wreaking havoc also on the West Shore right away towards Victory Boulevard. Garden State Parkway, New Jersey Turnpike, especially south of Newark. They are both affected by all of these storms and then all this flooding in New Jersey. Here's what you need to know about the bridges and tunnels, the rest of them. Inbound George, about an hour to the upper level, 45 to the lower, no good route out. Over at the Lincoln Tunnel, about an hour and 40 out, 30 and 60 out. Over at the Holland Bronx, found Whitestone, the worst of what there is across the Upper East River. Here's what we see on Long Island's Big Three. Eastbound Long Island Expressway and Northern State are bad all the way out through 110. Eastbound LIMS again from the Sac to Coast through Ronkonkoma. Slow goes Southern State westbound from 109 to Eagle Avenue. Eastbound from Hempstead Avenue back to Route 110. The Mario Cuomo Bridge, Rockland bound is bad, so is the Cross Westchester, getting you there from right off of 684. Traffic sponsored by RE/MAX. I'm Greg Rice. Our next report at 5:01 on 1010 Wins.
With access to millions of home listings and 115,000 knowledgeable agents, RE/MAX recommends what's right for you. Visit RE/MAX.com to find your home and agent now.
With news time 4:52, now your official 1010 Wins AccuWeather 4-day forecast. Sponsored by St. Francis Hospital. With a live report, here is meteorologist John Feerick.
Yeah, another warning has come out, and we have severe thunderstorm warnings now in effect for southeastern Somerset County, northeastern Middlesex County in New Jersey, as well as Hudson County, Union County, Essex County, and Staten Island. That one runs until 5:30. Flood warnings also in effect, which includes parts of the 5 boroughs, Manhattan, Brooklyn, Staten Island, as well as Essex, Hudson, and Union counties. And that's the main threat from these storms. The flash flooding, definitely turn around, don't drown if you do encounter high water out there on area roadways. Flash flooding is likely in areas of poor drainage especially, and we're going to see these showers and storms around through the evening, capable of producing damaging wind gusts and hail. Then we'll tend to dry out later tonight down to 72. Maybe a couple of showers in the thunderstorm tomorrow, but most of the day dry, and nice for Sunday and Monday. The thunderstorm Tuesday. Right now at the park, 76 with rain going out to 72 in Midtown. I'm AccuWeather's John Feerick, New York's weather station. 1010 Wins.
With news time 4:50, St. Francis is the #1 heart hospital on Long Island. We do more minimally invasive heart valve procedures than any other hospital on Long Island. We're a leader in the treatment of arrhythmia, and we're the only hospital on Long Island nationally ranked in cardiology and heart surgery by U.S. News and World Report 11 years in a row. 11 years. That's a lot of lives saved and families kept together. St. Francis, the Heart Center, a member of Catholic Health Services of Long Island.
Well, what's the dog? And the little dog. Does your morning commute sound like?
Can I get a sausage McMuffin with egg and a bacon, egg, and cheese biscuit, please?
Kids backed up, went back home, and I went to...
Here you go, Jim.
Here's to making your morning routine a little better. Right now, mix and match 2 select breakfast sandwiches, like a bacon, egg, and cheese McGriddles, a sausage McMuffin with egg, or a bacon, egg, and cheese biscuit for just $4. Breakfast at McDonald's. Single item at regular price at participating McDonald's for a limited time.
Wednesday's time, 4:55. NYCHA says the water at the Brevoort houses in Bed-Stuy will be back on by the end of the day. Residents have been waiting since early yesterday morning. No water and no warning. Residents of the Brevoort houses, like Sharon Spates, say it's off for minutes or hours at a time.
You can go to Houston at 7:10, 7:15. What is up?
There's no communication.
No communication at all. No signs in the building.
What residents say they have been told to do is fill up containers at faucets outside. Borough President Eric Adams says that's meant seniors have been struggling to haul buckets, and NYCHA is of no help.
The indifference. We're not concerned of your health needs. We're not concerned how you get the water to your apartment.
NYCHA says it has been trying to resolve several water issues here and trying to notify and help residents, especially the disabled, but admits no one should have to deal with unreliable service. Sonia Rincon, 1010 winds in Bed-Stuy. 78 degrees now. We're going down to 72. We have a severe thunderstorm warning in effect for Staten Island, Essex, Union, and Hudson counties, and a flash flood warning in effect for most of our area. Winds news time 4:56 now. Bloomberg Money Watch on 1010 winds. Here's Larry Kofsky.
Stocks ended lower as disappointing earnings news overshadowed upbeat data on the economy. The Dow Jones Industrial Average dropped 76. The S&P 500 fell 18. The Nasdaq Composite tumbled 114. Pilots at JetBlue have a contract. The agreement with the Airline Pilots Association was approved by 74% of those voting. It is the first labor contract in the history of the Queens-based airline. It takes effect on August 1st. Look for more into all sources say Brookstone is headed into bankruptcy for the second time since 2014, with plans to close most of its retail stores. Its airport locations may survive. Tyson Foods may be close to acquiring Keystone Foods, a supplier of chicken nuggets to McDonald's. Sources say Tyson is in exclusive talks with Keystone's Brazilian parent. Bloomberg Money Watch at 26 and 56 past every hour. I'm Larry Kofsky for 1010 Win.
Winds news time 4:57.
Don't you hate it when you lease a new car? Take a short drive to the grocery store and bam, a runaway shopping cart crushes your door. You go from new car love to lease and harm. Hey, it's Marcello from Island Toyota with big news that's guaranteed to change the way you lease a car. Lease any new Island Toyota car, truck, or SUV and get no charge wear and tear protection included, plus a great low payment. That means you don't have to worry about stains on your seats, chips in your windshield, or random dings and dents. It's simple. Lease at Island Toyota, and when you return your car, everything's covered. No surprise expenses. Plus, it comes with a great low payment. See how low the payments are at IslandToyotaOffers.com. Or buy a new Toyota or used vehicle, and Island includes a lifetime warranty and 2 years of oil changes on new. You heard it right. A lifetime warranty included on any new Toyota or used vehicle, plus 2 years of oil changes on new. When you need a car, Island's got your back. IslandToyotaOffers.com. Staten Island.
Wear and tear max $5,000. Non-transferable powertrain warranty. Excludes certain models, vehicles over 80,000 miles, electric and commercial. Brokers excluded. Expires 7/38.
Hey, this is Jerry Recco, sports anchor here at 1010 Wins. You know, the best businesses are always improving. That's why Spectrum Business is doubling their starting internet speeds from 100 up to 200 megabits per second without increasing the price. Now, businesses in New York City can get Spectrum Business Internet with speeds starting at 200 megabits per second, and prices are still starting at just $44.99 per month. That's a speed other providers simply cannot beat at a price they cannot match, which means you'll get faster internet so you can accomplish more every day. Plus, you'll have more bandwidth to power everything that's connected to your network, and you'll save money. So take advantage of this opportunity to improve your business. Call 866-750-9726 and switch to Spectrum Business today. You'll get speeds up to 200 megabits per second still for just $44.99 per month. That's 866-750-9726 for Spectrum Business.
Winds news time 4:59. Now this message. Old car giving you problems? Why not donate it? Call 1-877-CARS for Kids today.
WINS HD, WNAWHD3 New York.
A radio.com station. 1010 Winds AccuWeather says we have a severe thunderstorm warning in effect for Staten Island, Essex, Union, and Hudson counties, and a flash flood warning in effect for most of our area. These storms will be with us for The next few hours or so, they could produce large hail, flooding, downpours, and damaging winds. They will clear out much later tonight. We're going down to 72 degrees in Midtown, 76 degrees now. More people get their news from 1010 Winds than from any other radio station in the nation. John Davis is our service aide. Our writer's Walter Geist. Jim Powers is at the editor's desk. I'm Lori Metton.
All news, all the time. This is 1010 Winds. You give us 22 minutes, we'll give you the word.
Good afternoon. 76 degrees, light rain falling in some pockets at 5 o'clock on this Friday, July 27th. I'm Larry Mullins, and here's what's happening. The latest on that scuttlebutt involving the head of CBS, the yet-to-be-published report in the New Yorker says Les Moonves on shaky ground over claims of sexual misconduct. Now the finger-pointing begins over who's behind it. An American doctor in the Philippines told he can be extradited back to the States to answer claims he's an ISIS sympathizer who allegedly tried to help with planning bombings and other terrorist acts at venues here in the city. President Trump continues to deny his former personal attorney Michael Cohen's claims that Trump knew in advance about a highly controversial meeting at Trump Tower, and he's tweeting up a storm. And a zoo in Egypt getting flattened over claims that they faked a zebra, that is, painted stripes on a regular old donkey to give patrons a thrill. Wow. 1010 Winds AccuWeather, partly sunny, warm, humid with a late shower, high of 87. And in sports,
Crystal Presti, the Yankees begin life without Aaron Judge. They continue their series with the Royals. Mets and Pirates from Pittsburgh. Still no Sam Darnold as the Jets hit the field for their first training camp practice. I'm Bloomberg's Larry Kosky. The Dow closed at 25,451, down 76. The Nasdaq tumbled 114.
Winds News Time 5:01. And from Traffic Center this afternoon, expanded traffic in transit. Here is Greg Rice.
Well, weather means more traffic, especially this kind of weather. Staten Island Expressway, we've got flooding all over the expressway, eastbound side. A couple of lanes are knocked out getting over towards the West Shore Expressway. You're slow from the Goethals. The westbound standstill goes back over the Verrazano to the Belton Gowanus, and then it crawls all the way towards the West Shore Expressway. West Shore bad both ways to Victory Boulevard. State Parkway. You've got the Friday Getaway Company, and then all of this flooding not helping matters. Southbound Turnpike and Parkway both slow pretty much from Route 3 all the way down through at least Woodridge at this hour. Just no matter how you slice it. 17 not immune to this. We've got southbound flooding in Woodridge over at Moonachie Avenue. 2 lanes are going to be knocked out of service. Eastbound BQE over Union Street. You've got some police activity. Right lane knocked out. A standstill from the inbound Gowanus. Here's what you need to know about the bridges and tunnels. Inbound Georgia, at least an hour to the upper, 40 to the lower. Over out of the Lincoln Tunnel, about an hour in, 30 to 40 out. Holland, 30 in, 60 minutes out. Bronxbound RFK and Whitestone are terrible, so is the Queensbound Thronix Neck Bridge. Here's what we see on Long Island's Big 3. A whole lot of eastbound company on the LI and Northern State, at least as far as Melville. Eastbound LI jams again east of the Sactico. Southern State, the westbound crawl from 109 to Eagle Avenue. Eastbound from Franklin Avenue, getting you back to 110. I'm Greg Rice on 1010 Winds.
Winds News Time 5:03. If you look outside, you can't really tell it, and especially with all the watches and flooding and warnings that we're getting. But believe it or not, we're here for a good weekend. Really good weekend. So says AccuWeather once we get past all the crazy stuff. Meteorologist John Fearig live in the weather now with the latest. Jack?
Yeah, that's right. Numerous warnings in effect right now. Severe thunderstorm warning for about the next 15 minutes for Somerset and northeastern Middlesex County. We've got severe thunderstorm warning in effect until 5:30 for Hudson, Union, Essex, and Staten Island. Flash flood warnings for Staten Island, Brooklyn, Manhattan, as well as Hudson, Union, and Essex, and another flash flood warning that's come out from northeastern Middlesex now until 9 p.m. These slow-moving storms, the main threat is going to be for flash rain. We could see 2 inches of rain per hour at least underneath the storm, so there will be flash flooding in areas of poor drainage and a lot of area roadways if you do get stuck underneath one of these slow-moving thunderstorms. But there is also the potential for damaging wind gusts and hail from these storms. But later on tonight, things should calm down, and as you said, much nicer as we head through the weekend, Larry.
All right, thank you, John. CBS's longtime leader and one of the most powerful men in Hollywood, Chairman and CEO Les Moonves, begins his weekend with a few storms. In his boardroom, that is, hit with claims of sexual misconduct. Correspondent Aaron Katursky with the latest.
An as yet unpublished New Yorker article is expected to contain allegations of personal misconduct against CBS chief Les Moonves. In a preemptive statement, CBS said it is committed to investigating the claims, which CBS said involve recently reported allegations that go back several decades. They come as Moonves is battling for control of CBS with the Redstone family, which wants to merge with Viacom. CBS questioned the timing of this report amid the company's very public legal dispute.
So far, no comment from Moonves or CBS other than their statement. They're looking into it, and based on their findings, they'll move accordingly. But reps for Sherry Redstone said the insinuation that she's somehow behind the allegations is false and self-serving. It says here, Ms. Redstone hopes that the investigation of these allegations is thorough, open, and transparent. In other news, cops trying to get to the bottom of things after a woman's body was found today in New Rochelle. Newsman Al Jones with us now. And the latest this afternoon on the 1010 Winds Ring Central Newsline.
A short driveway leads to a padlocked fence at the former armory here at 270 Main Street. It's where a jogger discovered the body of a woman at around 7:30. New Rochelle police say it's an apparent homicide, and while crime scene investigators bagged up clothing and other items from the scene, the medical examiner's office removed the body. Police have not identified the body, nor have they released a preliminary cause of death. The building, abandoned for over 20 years, but the crime scene is just feet from the sidewalk and this busy Main Street. Al Jones, 1010 Winds in New Rochelle.
Also, a Philippine court has granted the extradition to the U.S. of a doctor suspected of being an ISIS sympathizer and plotting attacks on New York City concert venues, subway stations, and Times Square. Russell Lange Salik has denied the charges and could appeal. For now, he's being held in Manila. One of his alleged accomplices has already pleaded guilty. More news in a moment. First, your AccuWeather forecast. You've been hearing about these severe thunderstorm watches until 10 o'clock tonight. Otherwise, this evening, warm and humid with a couple of thunderstorms around the area. And we'll get down to a low of 72. But once that gets out of here later tonight, we should be okay. Warm and times of clouds tomorrow. A stray shower or two maybe to start it off, but really a high of 86, and it should clear out really nicely tomorrow, down to a low of 70. 60 off the verge, and then Sunday's supposed to be really gorgeous. Partly cloudy and nice with lower humidity and a high of 84. Hanging on to 77 right now. Light rain falling in some areas, going down to 72 tonight. Wednesday news time 5:07. President Trump disputing claims that he knew about that now infamous meeting at lawyer Michael Cohen, said to be preparing to share that little tidbit of information with the Mueller investigation. It's the latest in what's turning into a public brawl between Trump and the man who once said he'd take a bullet for the president. Cohen, it's been reported, has said that he was also present when Trump's son, Donald Jr., presented him with the information which led up to that meeting. Trump tweeted today, "Sounds to me like someone is trying to make up stories in order to get himself out of an unrelated jam," referring to Cohen, of course, and an investigation into his business.
Eli Manning, as the guy who's been here so long, it must be kind of fun to have a new kid like Barkley, a young talent like that behind you, right? I mean, a kid that you're going to work with is a kid who obviously has a world of talent.
Sure, yeah, it's been fun, and he's a great kid, and he's got personality to him, kind of takes things well, and also, but he's done a great job just studying the playbook, practicing hard, understanding his rules. He takes the coaching well, and tries to understand exactly what's going on. So I think
I hear he catches the ball well,
he catches the ball extremely well, very natural. He's an athlete. He's a running back, but he's an athlete. He's an athletic kid and does everything very naturally.
How about, and it seems like another positive is Beckham. We know how good he can be, and it seems like he is really, maybe getting a little to the point where he's going to be a little more restrained, or at least kind of get it where he's done everything that he's supposed to do this year and not tried to push the envelope in any direction, which has got to be positive for the team.
Yeah, I think he's done a great job just, coming to work, right? Doing everything he's been, kind of supposed to do, coming to work, having his head on straight and his mindset about getting ready, and I think that's good. That affects the team when, he's not trying to, make a distraction. He's, trying to do his job. He's always been a great teammate. He's always been a great around the locker room and practice, and I know he'll continue to do that.
It's weird. You do something successfully for a long time, and I just went through it. I left and came back. Right? It was weird. It was weird coming back. It was weird when I was out for 5.5 months. you go through these phases. First, you were a young kid, you had to prove yourself, you did. Then you win championships, you did that. Then you've gone through coaching changes. Does it feel like a different phase here? Does it feel like, the last... What does it feel like with a new coach coming off all the craziness of last year?
No, it's still an excitement. I think every year, that's a great thing about football. Every year, it is a new year. Last year does not matter. Last year's not going to help you win games. Right. It's not going to affect you, this upcoming season. You got new players, a new opportunity, and you never know what year's going to be that special year. The year we won championships, we didn't know going in, hey, this is our year, we're going to win a championship. It wasn't an easy ride through the course of the season, so you never know when an opportunity is going to come and things are clicking, the team comes together, you find a way to win those close games, you make it to the playoffs, and you can make that special year happen. So I think you're always, if that opportunity does come and you got those chances, you want to make them. You want to make those plays in fourth quarters and win those tight football games to make this season something to remember.
You've had a great career and you've had a long career, and obviously, look at the numbers, look at the championships, the MVPs, everything else that's gone with it in the Super Bowl. I'm sure you don't show a lot of emotion, you never do, but I'm sure you felt it a little bit last year. A lot of people throughout the league, Eli can't do it anymore. Eli this is, there was so much debate about that. I'm sure that has to motivate a little bit, right? Listen, you proved everything you have nothing to prove, but still, I'm sure you want to get out there and show everyone that you can still play at a very high level.
No doubt. You always want to prove, and I know I can play at a high level, and I got to go do it on Sundays, and I can, I know I can make all the throws and move the pocket and do my job, and so I definitely want to, like I said earlier, prove that the Giants made the right decision and keep me the players that we back, and we can go out there and play great football.
I've always thought that. I don't see that. I think the honest to that would say, is there anything that you feel like you go out there now and you can't do that you used to be able to do?
No, I feel like I'm in great shape. Body feels good. Everything feels fresh, and
it's really very good. But now it's, you're pretty young to me. You're a guy who had a lot of injuries. You've been very lucky, knock on wood. Sure. And, you can still do this, and I'm sure you feel you can still do this at this level.
No doubt. I can still play at a pretty high level.
Yeah, so, and it's even at this stage, like someone's going to be walking by, what is it like? To put everything and stuff in it, you still want to go out there and do it. You want to compete, right?
You want to win, you want to compete. This is all I know. I know football. This is what I've been doing my whole life. This is what I want to do. I don't have other plans. I don't have other aspirations to do anything. I want to win championships and play quarterback in the New York Giants.
So you got tell me about the offensive line. Can you tell already your experience and your knowledge? Can you tell already that I'm going to be okay there, or are you going to have to wait and see if you're going to be okay there?
No, I think it's a good group of guys. I think they have a great pride in what they're doing. I think they get along well. They communicate. They're all smart. They know what they're making calls. They're on the same page. And so, I see, every day it's going to be a work in progress. I always thought those offensive linemen, it's not just having five great players. It's having those five working together. It's just them being on the same page and just kind of feeling off each other, knowing their assignments, playing fast, but also just being able to kind of communicate and figure things out and pick up different blitzes in the run game and all those things. So I think it is a good group. I think they are close. And I think that's the kind of starting point now. It's just coming together. And there's some plays I got to help them out, get it out quickly. Some of them we can hold on to a little longer to get somebody open.
You've gone through a bunch of coaches now in your career. I mean, that's part of it when you last this long. What would you say about this guy that you've learned already or noticed about this guy?
Yeah, he's just he's very down to earth. He's very easy to talk to. He does a great job communicating with the whole team, kind of what he wants to get out of each day of practice, certain drills, certain situations of practice. So I think he's done a great job just kind of communicating his style that he wants us to play, and kind of talking with me just about playing quarterback and calling plays and how he wants to read things. So just been impressed with the way he's kind of handled all the situations, and he's done a great job just. If you want a football coach, you want to kind of hang out with him because he's just a good man.
How about Mike Shula, who's been around a long, long time?
Same thing.
Did you know him before this? You probably did, right? You probably bumped into him.
Just a little bit, yeah. I bumped into him and know the family and played against him. He was the head coach at Alabama when played against his team. So, but yeah, same way. Just obviously he's been around football a long time, been around the quarterback position, understands that aspect, been calling plays, an offensive coordinator for a long time in this league. So, but at the same way. He does a great job communicating, kind of knowing when to, when it's time to kind of coach football, when it's time to, talk. A lot of time in training camp to hang out a little bit and kind of just get to know each other. So it's been good.
The thing that jumps off the page with me, and we'll talk about Eli Manning, is the ability to matches with this group. Your tight end, he can do that. He can get deep. We know what Beckham can do. And now Barkley out of the backfield. I mean, you see him running the wheel around. I mean, he's going to be tough to handle. I mean, or anything that you put him in a matchup where anywhere he gets out there on someone who's going to have trouble guarding him, you're going to have you got some explosive opportunities to make plays down the field with this group.
Yeah, no doubt. And I think we got to put them in those positions. It should be. I'm excited about that. We got to put them in those positions and do the things. And as excited about this crew, you can throw that little slant or you can throw that quick ball and they can make kind of something happen out of
absolutely. And, really, this has got a chance to be a very, very interesting offense. It really does. And, very multiple offense, versatile, a lot of different weapons. And, you get back to maybe throwing some more deep balls, which you got away from the last couple of years. Well, that wasn't their style of doing that, but now you go back to some of that. I always think that's always been a strength of yours.
Sure. I think this offense will give us opportunity to push the ball down the field a little bit and, mix up. Obviously, in the short game, you got to get it out fast sometimes, but I think it does a good job of, kind of giving a lot of different concepts, getting the ball to the backs, getting it to your tight ends, receivers, moving guys around, and trying to create those mismatches.
I know you can't tell anything a day into camp, but what's your feeling for this year? Can you get any feeling from this group yet, or is it too early?
I think obviously everybody's excited the first day, and everybody comes. Everybody's worked extremely hard kind of during the spring, during the summers to prepare ourselves for this upcoming season. Now I think it'll be us coming together, us kind of buying into everything we got to do, being mentally tough to handle the ups and downs of a season. It's not always smooth sailing, as we know, but I think we have that leadership and that trust that we can make something special happen.
I used to say this every year when I go to spring training. I would say it to Derek G. I'd say, how many times we've done this? And I remember I'm doing it as a rookie, and every year you go and you have your day and talk like I do here. And I've done the same thing with you, and we've done it now all these years. Does it seem like all those years? Does it seem like it's
gone by fast? No, it's gone by very fast. It's been obviously a lot of fun, and enjoyed every day. Enjoyed the opportunity to be out here. And you understand it doesn't last for longer, and or last forever.
Does it seem like you've been doing this here a long time, or does it seem like just the snap of a finger?
It's been quick. It's been very quick. It seems like that, and I enjoy it. I enjoy being here. Enjoy meeting new teammates and having different players and talking football and learning a new offense. All those things are exciting, and keep it fresh and new.
Have you asked Peyton what is Peyton talking about not being a quarterback? What's life like not being a quarterback? I put so much time into being a quarterback. Sure. What does he say to you about not being a quarterback?
Well, I think I've been around him some. It's tough. He misses it.
Does he?
He just misses the teammates. I don't know if he. I think
you guys put in 100. You put in 100. You put in 100 hour a week. You guys. You take it home with you. You guys don't stop.
I think he misses the wins. You miss certain things. He kind of misses the losing and the hits and the soreness and some of those things that come with it. But there's definitely different aspects. But I think he knew he got out at the right time, and he's enjoying being around his family and playing a lot of golf and doing some things outside of football.
But you still you can tell you still love it. You still feel the same way about it you always did.
I don't want to get. I don't want to be doing what he's doing. So I like what Peyton's doing. I love it. I'm one of the few guys. I felt like I always loved going to camp. I went to camp when I was 10 years old away, and I'm still 37 going to camp and get excited about it.
Well, listen, we're looking forward to the season. It should be a lot of fun. Thanks. We'll talk every week. As always, thank you very much. Good to see you. Thank you. Eli Manning, back after this.
On Saturday, July 28th, come to Meadowlands Racing and Entertainment Annual Seafood Truck Festival. Enjoy crab cake, lobster rolls, raw bars, and enter the $500 deal and eat shrimp contest. Admission and parking are free. Fun starts at 6 p.m. Racing at 7:15. Meadowlands.com.
My mom has kind of an 80s thing. Like, a permanently stuck in the 80s thing. We're talking teased up feathered hair, acid wash denim jacket, and shoulder pads. So many shoulder pads. I tried to bring her up to speed, but after a week or so, it's just right back to the leg warmers. But I just got a new phone from AT&T. Check this out. It came with a second one for free. It's the perfect replacement for my mom's phone, which I'm not sure she can text on, if she even knew how. So I figured, why fight it? She loves her 80s TV. And this will totally help her stream all her favorite shows filmed in front of a live studio audience.
Come into an AT&T store, buy a smartphone, and get one on us. AT&T, more for your thing. That's our thing. Limited time in areas. Select devices. Each requires up to $900 on installment agreement. Requires one new line and minimum $75 per month service. Free after credits over 30 months, starting within 3 bills. If cancel service, device balance is due. $30 activation, additional fees, taxes, and restrictions apply. See your local AT&T store for details.
Brothers Supply is New York's #1 source for ice-safe P-tags, water source heat pumps, fan coils, air conditioning contactors, and heat this summer. And team up with Brothers for all of your air conditioning needs. Call today for a quote and visit online at brothersupply.com. Remember, Brothers Supply carries it in stock.
And now death. Is St. Colin sacred silence?
Are you there? Yes! The quiet, calming, the stillness, sacred. We greet the silence with reverence. I did it! I won a scratch-off from the New York Lottery!
Win anywhere, win anytime. Bring some sparkle to your day with the new Diamonds and Gold scratch-off. With fees on both sides of the ticket, you can win up to $1 million. Must be 18 years or older. First lottery ticket, please play responsibly.
Ram summer clearance event is here, and it's time to get to work. But you understand that hard work is about more than building something from wood or bricks. It's about building a reputation. Something that the all-new 2019 Ram 1500 prides itself on too. With available premium leather and real wood accents, and the largest available touchscreen in its class. Surround yourself with the things that are worthy of your reputation. Ram, built to serve.
Now during the Ram Summer Clearance Event, well-qualified current lessees of competitive vehicles get a low-mileage lease on the 2018 Ram 1500 Express Quad Cab 4x4 for $129 a month for 24 months with $2,999 due at signing, tax, title, license extra. Class based on light-duty pickups. Call 1-877-RAM-5722 for details. Excludes all other FCA vehicles. Requires dealer contribution at least to Chrysler Capital. 25% charge for each mile over 20,000. Residency restrictions apply. Take delivery by 7/31. Ram. Trademark of FCA US LLC.
I'm Matt McClure with the RayCatina.com Auto Group Fan Highway Patrol. The rain in spots has made for some wet, slick roadways and flooding in places. It's even shut down some roads. This update sponsored by your locally owned Domino's. And just a few of the spots that we see the flooding out there, a lot of them actually in New Jersey. The New Jersey Turnpike southbound, the car and truck lanes, some flooding with some lane blockages near exit 11. That's the Garden State Parkway. Speaking of the Garden State Parkway, the northbound side of that roadway near exit 131 reports of flooding blocking multiple lanes. Southbound Route 17 near Moonachie Avenue reports of flooding blocking the right and center lanes there. So just take it easy, be careful out there. Outbound George Washington Bridge, both decks still seeing delays of up to 60 minutes, 40 to 45 at the Lincoln, 30 to 45 heading out of town at the Holland. Introducing Domino's Hotspots. Get pizza delivered to outdoor locations like parks, beaches, and more. Not at home? Not a problem. Visit Domino's.com for details on Domino's Hotspots. I'm Matt McClure with the RayCatina.com Auto Group Fan Highway Patrol.
This summer, relax. Let Custom Care Concierge handle everything. Daily housekeeping tasks to travel arrangements, planning a special birthday or anniversary party, best-in-class lifestyle services. CustomCareConcierge.com. That's CustomCareConcierge.com.
The new Volkswagen of Union says make the switch and drive a better bargain in technology and engineering. Lease a new 2019 Jetta S manual for as low as $115.78 a month, 36 months. Details at VolkswagenofUnion.com. The new Volkswagen of Union.
Saturday, August 4th. Berlin, Hard Rock Hotel and Casino Atlantic City, in association with Main Events, presents Championship Boxing, featuring two-time light heavyweight world champion Sergey Crusher Kovalev, putting his WBO light heavyweight world title on the line against longtime WBC light heavyweight #1 contender Ryder Storm Alvarez. Tickets for Kovalev versus Alvarez at Hard Rock Live at Ennis Arena are available now at HardRockHotelAtlanticCity.com.
We're coming to you live from the Town Fair Tire Studios, powered by Town Fair Tire. Nobody beats Town Fair Tire. Nobody. Back at Giant Camp, and one thing you know, whenever we come to Giant Camp, as we do every year, my annual pilgrimage, it's usually one of the hottest days of the year. It's always that way, and we're sitting here on a steamy day, and we welcome in the new head coach, Pat Shermer. Coach, welcome. Nice to see you. How's everything?
Great to be with you.
My pleasure. Thank you. You know, interestingly, one of the things I saw the first days was they said,
Coughlin, the people who have been around the building, there's a lot of people here, as you know, have been here a long, long time. They said there's a climate that reminds them of the Coughlin years, and people even asking on the staff, are the players being polite? Are they being attentive? And they hadn't heard that. People worrying about the players and their behavior. So tell me what you're trying to build there with that.
Well, I guess when you're compared to Tom, you know, that's a compliment. I've always admired what he's done, and you know, I don't know. I'm not trying to be Tom Coughlin, right? Trying to do things the right way. We want our players to be good citizens, but we want them to be competitive, gritty New York Giants, and so we can live good lives and competitive, gritty lives when they're out here.
What do you... Tell me first about your staff. One of the things that I hear more and more, and maybe it's because you look at some of these contracts in college and you see coordinators making $11,500 for 5 years being coordinators in college. Hard to build staffs now. College pays really well, as we see. You get a guy in college making $2.5 million as a coordinator. So, and something like that, life better. Did you get a staff that you are happy with? Was it hard to build a staff? A couple of head coaches told me that's the hardest thing now in this time in the league. It's very hard to get a good staff together.
Well, the hardest part is, you know, convincing somebody to come with you to a place. But when the New York Giants, you know, I had guys standing in line to come work here, which I think is a credit to the organization. It's what we saw quickly when we all got here, and I feel terrific about the staff that we've assembled. There's a couple things I look for. You got to be a career coach. You are not a consultant, 1 foot in the boat. So you're a career coach. You got to be an excellent communicator, and you really got to be an expert at your position, which means you're continuing to learn. And so all those things are important. I feel like the guys we have here coaching our players are all that. And so I'm looking forward to getting it going.
An old adage that you can't coach the coaches, right? I mean, they have to be ready to work, and they have to be able to teach what you want to do. And how radical is what you're giving the players? Obviously, it's a different defense. It's going to be your way of interpreting the offense. Are we going to see big differences on both sides of the ball with the team this year?
I don't know. I think schematically on defense it'll look a little different. Like, you know, but it really doesn't matter. I mean, you can call it old brown shoe or old blue shoe, but it comes down to the players, you know, doing and executing. And we feel good about the roster we put together. We're going to inspire them to play. In fact, I used to end the meetings in Minnesota with the offense. It's not about the plays, it's about the players. And I think if we can do everything we can to make them as good as they can be, and sometimes that means having the tough conversation and telling them they had a crappy day. You know, and so you know, if we can do that, then the plays will work out.
You have a quarterback who's a veteran guy who's played forever, who obviously doesn't need a whole lot of coaching and has won 2 Super Bowls as an MVP, and you have a very talented kid who's stepping in as his first moment in the league as a running back. How much can you put on, no matter how talented he is, how much can you put on Barkley's shoulders this year?
Yeah, you know, he's gonna carry the workload of a starting running back in this league, and so what we've seen so far is he's going to be able to do it. You know, I really believe at running back it takes a village. You know, so we got Jonathan Stewart and Gallman. We got guys there that we feel like can carry the ball and do what we want. But, you know, obviously he's going to get a lot of attention. We're going to do what we can to give him the ball, throw him the ball. And when he's not, you know, running it or catching it, he needs to block, and he showed that he can do that as well.
How about, and blitz pickup so important for a young back, there's clearly an incredible amount of explosiveness on this offense. I mean, you have game-breaking guys at tight end, running back, at wide receiver, so there's a lot there. And the quarterback, who's always been a very good deep ball thrower, so there. Is this offensive line, which has really struggled. How do you feel about how you have the pieces there right now?
Well, we feel good about the changes we've made. We feel like we've improved from a year ago from a personnel standpoint. We like how they're working together. You know, the proof's in the pudding, but, you know, we made this switch in Minnesota, and it helped us a year ago. You know,
the line got a lot better last year in Minnesota.
Yeah, but we didn't change the oil. We new transmission. So, you know, so we added some new players. We moved some of the guys that were here around.
Yep.
You know, and it appears like they're working well together. They're a tough, gritty group, but they got to do it, because if you don't protect the quarterback and you can't run the ball and really run the ball when they think you're going to run it, then all that other stuff doesn't come together.
Well, yeah, and this team, I mean, it's been, listen, we've seen in recent years this team has struggled in both areas, protecting the quarterback and running the football. It's been very, very tough here the last couple of years with that. So any upgrade would be a big one for the quarterback. It's tough. Like quarterback under those scenarios, huh? I mean, it really is. What did you see when you got here in terms of you took over a team that had won 2 years ago and then created last year. What did you inherit? What did you see that you inherited?
Well, we all know there's reasons why you can be 11-5 and then flip around and unfortunately be 3-13. It's easy. It's, games come down to one score, one drive. Something critical in the middle of the season can create a loss down the road. So we get all that. But the key to the drill is we need to grow away from what was 3-13. And a lot of it is just, in my opinion, just keep the focus on playing football. Let all that other stuff, any distraction that'll keep us from having a good practice, winning a game, or a stretch of games, that's got to be dead to us. We got to separate it and leave it outside the building, and that's going to be my continual message. So just play football and worry about all that other stuff later.
You see so much now. We're talking with the Giants' new head coach, Pat Sherman. We're a day into training camp here at the Giants training camp complex over in Jersey. There's a lot of talk now about, I'm going to love the players, I'm going to do this, I'm going to communicate with the players. There seems to be not a lot of, I'm going to demand, I'm going to be tough. The idea of the old football coaches, we know them through the years, seems to, and maybe there's still some of that in football, it seems to be less so in the other sports. Do you think?
President Derek Adams says NYCHA and 311's reporting system does reflect that the water outages are an ongoing NYCHA says it is trying to communicate with residents, especially the disabled, and is promising a permanent fix. Sonia Rincon, 1010 Wins in Bed-Stuy. Weekdays time 5:31. From the Ram Trucks Traffic Center, expanded traffic and transit for your afternoon rush hour commute. It's a soggy one. Here is Greg Rice.
Well, that's just the nicer thing you can say about it. We go to Jersey, and this is just terrible. Southbound Gardens Parkway and New Jersey Turnpike from north of 280. They are both standstill southbound all the way through at least Woodbridge before this gets any kind of better. Northbound Turnpike, car and truck lanes are slow both out of East Brunswick all the way up through Carteret. These storms really wreaked havoc with the Garden State Parkway and the New Jersey Turnpike. The good news is everybody is stuck in that southbound Parkway. Once you're past the Driscoll Bridge, it's not terrible for you coming all the way down towards the shore. Staten Island Expressway getting better slowly either way over to the West Shore as that flooding starts to subside. Here's what you need to know about the bridges and tunnels. Verrazano upper level is crawling, as are the Belton Gowanus getting you there. Upper level of the George about an hour 30 to the lower, 1 hour and 45 out of the Lincoln. We're still looking at 30 in, 60 out. Bronxbound RFK and Whitestone are slow, as are the inbound Midtown Tunnel and the outbound Brooklyn Bridge. Here's what we see on Long Island's Big Three. Southern State slows eastbound from Hempstead Avenue all the way to the Bethpage Parkway, westbound from 109 to Eagle Avenue. Not good on the eastbound Northern State or LI all the way out through 110. Eastbound LI bad again east of the South Dakota State Parkway. Traffic sponsored by Monmouth University. I'm Greg Rice. Our next report at 5:41 on 1010 Wins.
Monmouth University. Our coast, your horizon. Make waves and let your passion thrive. Our vibrant coastal campus offers innovative academic programs, nationally ranked Division I athletics, and a proud...
So slightly. When he addressed the court, he said that, quote, I'm extremely remorseful. He talked about the fact the last 3 years have been very difficult. And he also mused about what he would miss if and when he goes to prison, family events, bar mitzvahs, weddings, birthdays, etc. He asked the judge to show him mercy.
What was the judge's take as he handed down the sentence?
Well, the judge acknowledged there were a lot of letters expressing the good work that he did, but basically she said this crime was driven by unmitigated greed, and she really didn't want to let him get away with the fact that he talked about all the good, and the fact his attorney had talked about all the good that he had done. She said that he wanted it both ways. He wanted to be seen as a man of the people, but at the same time he was richly lining his own pockets. So the judge gave him a bit of a break. After his first conviction, which was overturned, he was sentenced to 12 years. this time it's 7 years.
Is he going to appeal?
Phil Silver says he is going to appeal. Whether he can stay free on bail while that happens is unclear. Until we determine that, the judge expects him to surrender October 5th. At that time, he will go to a prison, which is yet to be determined.
Thanks, Peter. Peter Haskell, live at Manhattan Federal Court.
Millions of New Yorkers may have to change their cable, internet, and phone provider. A state commission has ordered Spectrum Cable to stop doing business in New York.
Mike Smeltz is following this story and joins us. Mike, why are state regulators so upset?
So this is a climax of an issue that's been developing for some time. 2 years ago, Charter Communications bought Time Warner Cable, which we now call Spectrum. In order to get approval from New York's Public Service Commission, Charter agreed to expand service to nearly 150,000 homes and businesses that were considered underserved. Charter had 4 years to get to that number, and now 2 years in, they are already way behind certain benchmarks. The State Commission says Charter has shown no intention of completing their agreement. New York had fined Charter millions of dollars leading up to this and threatened this move that was going to happen today. Now with the Commission voting to revoke its approval of their 2016 agreement, that gives Charter 60 days to find another company to take over for them in New York. And of course, that's a tight window for Charter and not exactly the best negotiating position after just 2 years ago they spent $55 billion to get into the New York market.
You heard from Charter Communications. How is it reacting?
They claim this move by the Commission is politically motivated. They sent over a statement to me saying that, quote, in the weeks leading up to an election, rhetoric often becomes politically charged. It does go on to say that they remain focused on delivering faster and better broadband to more New Yorkers as promised. There's nothing in here about possible legal action against New York State to block this move, but of course that's likely, an unlikely outcome if New York continues down this path of kicking Charter out of the state.
And Governor Cuomo also weighed in this afternoon?
Yeah, that's right. First, he said this move had to be made since Charter refused to comply with their agreement on state. He says it's a signal that big business cannot just push around New Yorkers, that it is a valuable commodity to do business here. The governor also said a number of companies have already talked with the Public Service Commission about taking Charter's New York business off their hands. But then Governor Cuomo accused Charter's news organization, Spectrum News, or if you're in the city, New York One, of not reporting on the story. The governor called it a virtual blackout, saying, quote, if you watch Charter Spectrum, this issue has been going on for months. They haven't even reported on it. Now, I just spoke with a representative from Spectrum News who says the story has been running and will continue to run. I checked both the Albany News Service and New York One's website. The story is not up on the website, but apparently it has been running on the TV service. So right now it's a battle over cable service and news coverage between Cuomo and Charter.
That's WCBS reporter Mike Smeltz. Mike, thanks for joining us.
5:36 on the afternoon roundup. Now this, perhaps you've heard Paul and Wayne talking about Sloman Security in the morning on WCBS 880. They're a family-owned business built on decades of trust, and now they're offering an amazing deal.
Sloman's is offering a $1,500 home security system plus installation for free. All you have to do is use Sloman's low-cost central station monitoring for 24/7 security.
Call 833-933-SAFE. That's 833-933-SAFE. You'll be connected to a Sloman's representative in seconds.
And the WCBS 880 callers will receive free doorbell camera with your new Sloman system. If you're home or away, the doorbell camera sends alerts to your smartphone when people arrive or packages are delivered. This feature's got the ability to record suspicious activity. You can even talk to visitors through its speaker.
Sloman's will give you an LED touch pad, motion detectors, 3 doors on camera and installation, all for the low-cost central station monitoring.
Just call 833-933-SAFE. That's 833-933-SAFE.
Are health problems, disability, or age making it harder to live in your own home? Turn to ArchCare, the healthcare system of the Archdiocese of New York. ArchCare delivers everything you need to stay healthy and live comfortably where you want to live with top-quality medical care, home care, in-home physical and occupational therapy and nursing home alternatives to keep you home longer. Meals, transportation, and social day centers too, to make life easier and provide peace of mind for your family. With Arch Care, the focus is on helping you live independently with the quality of life you deserve. You have a choice. Ask for Arch Care. Learn more about Arch Care, including the new Arch Care Senior Life program of all-inclusive care for the elderly on the campus of Cabrini of Westchester at archcare.org or call 855-951-CARE. That's 855-951-CARE. Arch Care. Together, we can.
WCBS News Time 5:38. Time for traffic and weather together, sponsored by Arch Care.
Where to begin? Here's Tom Kaminsky.
Well, for now, let's start at the Hudson River crossings. The outbound side of the Holland and Lincoln tunnels is well over an hour. It was just a mess trying to get to the outbound side of the Holland tunnel. It doesn't get a whole lot better on the Jersey side, and part of the problem with that is flooding on in that area of Woodbridge, right around interchange 11 of the New Jersey Turnpike. So the inner and outer lanes very heavy from 14 right on down to 11. It is a mess on the Garden State Parkway. We've got flooding both ways in that stretch between 129 and 131 in Island, and again, even a little bit farther up the line, we've got some flooding delays there too. Flooding on the FDR Drive northbound at 96th Street, so the northbound delays from at least the area of the Williamsburg Bridge on up through the 90s, and then 140s up to the GWB, the west side from 12th Avenue on up. Connecticut Turnpike with a collision now blocking 2 lanes in the area of exit 18 in Westport, so we're heavy out of Greenwich right on up through that Westport area. More delays on up through the area of 24 in Fairfield and the Merritt Parkway out of Greenwich. The area of exit 48 in Trumbull. Now the trip from Westchester up to Rock, very heavy on 287 from 684 onto the northbound thruway. Stays very slow right to and across the Tappan Zee Bridge on up toward the Palisades. And if you're heading farther up around the area of 15A in Sloatsburg, we still have a collision being worked on there, and those delays on Route 287 go all the way back to the area of Franklin Lakes, up toward the merge point with Route 17, then onto the northbound thruway, right on up through that area of 15A. I'm Tom Kaminsky in the WCBS Traffic Center. And take a look at the weather right now. Looking at our weather radar, it looks like the big thunderstorm activity is south and west of where we are in downtown Manhattan. South Brooklyn getting pounded right now, as is, let's see, that's eastern Staten Island, Elizabeth, Roselle Park, and if you go farther west, Plainfield, Berkeley Heights, there's another thunderstorm cell over there, and that's what's going to continue through the night. Some of these showers could be heavy, and there could be some hail mixed in as well.
Yeah, tomorrow a little better with a mix of clouds and stray shower or thunderstorm. 86 the high tomorrow. These storms will cool things off at 78 in Hanford, 78 in New City. We're at 77 here in Hudson Square.
WCBS News 540. The CEO and chairman of CBS, Les Moonves, has been accused of unwanted kissing and touching. The New Yorker says the alleged sexual harassment started 20 years ago. Some of the cases, though, were fairly recent. In a statement, CBS says it takes allegations of personal misconduct seriously, and it's investigating. Now, CBS suggested, though, that the timing of the allegations was suspicious, since CBS is in a legal dispute with majority owner Shari Redstone. A representative for Redstone fired back. The malicious insinuation that Miss Redstone is somehow behind the allegations of inappropriate behavior by Les Moonves is false and self-serving.
Big name missing from Jets camp today. We'll check sports next.
Last year, Harvey Levin brought you inside the lives of some of the biggest names. Now, Objectified is back with brand new episodes on Fox News Channel. Season 2 is bigger than ever, with can't-miss episodes featuring
Parkway, you've got it worse either way. Eastbound just not moving from the Verrazano over to Erskine Street. Westbound from Pennsylvania Avenue right on back to the bridge. Westbound Staten Island Expressway real tough because of the earlier flooding getting over towards the MLK. The New Jersey Turnpike, the Garden State Park, southbound south of Route 3, the Garden mess coming down towards the area of Woodbridge. Northbound side of the Parkway, across the Driscoll Bridge and getting up towards the area of Island. Northbound Turnpike also getting into the storms from out of East Brunswick, and that's both the car and truck lanes at this hour. Here's what you need to know about the rest of the bridges and tunnels. About an hour still on the upper level of the George, 20 to 30 on the lower. 1 hour in, 40 out of the Lincoln. Holland, we're still looking at least 30 in and 60 on the outbound side. Bronxbound RFK, Bronxbound Whitestone, Queensbound Whitestone, and Throgneck. Inbound Midtown Tunnel, outbound Brooklyn Bridge, all still so slow. I'm Greg Rice. Our next report at 5:51 on 1010 West.
News time 5:43.
And now, a severe weather alert from 1010 Winds.
Severe weather tearing through our area this afternoon. As you just heard from Greg, the roads are a mess. Let's get an update on these storms. We are going to check in with AccuWeather's John Feerick. John.
Yeah, the worst of the storms still over Staten Island, although moving now into Brooklyn, as you heard on the traffic report. Bensonhurst over to, Brighton Beach. Manhattan Beach, that's where we're seeing some of the worst of the weather right now in terms of very heavy rainfall for a period of time. Severe thunderstorm warning in effect for Queens, Brooklyn, and Manhattan until 6. Flash flood warning also in effect until 6 for Brooklyn, Staten Island, Manhattan, as well as Hudson, Union, and Essex counties. Flash flood warning until 9 p.m. for northeastern Middlesex County in New Jersey. That's going to be the main threat from these storms. Flash flooding, very heavy rain in a short period of time. Maybe 2 to 3 inches per hour in some locations. So any areas of poor drainage that normally don't drain very well, that's where we're going to see the flash flooding, but also the threat of damaging wind gusts, as well as vivid cloud-to-ground lightning over the next couple of hours, Laura.
The Panorama Music Festival was evacuated on Randall's Island this afternoon because of the storm. The Parks Department was helping concert goers leave Randall's Island. All of the shows for tonight have been in these storms. Winds news time 5:44.
Last year, Part 11 brought you inside the lives of some of the biggest names. Now, Objectified is back with brand new episodes on Fox News Channel. Season 2 is bigger than ever, with can't-miss episodes featuring Magic Johnson, Kris Jenner, Alex Trebek, Steven Tyler, Pamela Anderson, Pitbull, Dr. Phil, Willie Nelson, and more. Don't miss their prized possessions and never-before-told tales on Season 2 of Objectified with Part 11 every Sunday at 8 p.m. Eastern, only on Fox News Channel.
Winds news time 5:45 now from the WFAN Sports Desk, sponsored by NYU Winthrop Hospital. Here's Chris Lepresti.
Well, Lori, as the Yankees try to stay within shouting distance of the first-place Red Sox, they have to figure out how to do that minus one of their more indispensable players, at least for the next 3 weeks. That's the amount of time Aaron Judge is expected to miss after suffering a chip fracture of his right wrist last night. No surgery for Judge, and he could begin dry swings and tee-work in 10 days. He goes to the DL. Tyler Wade recalled from AAA. Giancarlo Stanton in right field and batting second tonight for game 2 of 4 against the Royals. CC Sabathia opposed by Brad Keller. First pitch, weather pending at 7:05. The Mets have looked decent since the All-Star break. 3 straight wins, 4 out of 6. See if they can build on that as they continue a 4-game series in Pittsburgh. Jason Vargas set to make his first start in over a month. The Pirates countering with former Yankee Ivan Nova. The Mets also signed veteran outfielder Austin Jackson, who is with the team and available off the bench for tonight's game. And this just in, Andy Martino of SNY says veteran infielder Asdrubal Cabrera will be traded to the Phillies. That deal agreed upon pending medicals. And Sam Darnold officially a training camp holdout and hasn't signed his rookie contract with the Jets, and thus missed the team's first practice today in Florham Park for head coach Todd Bowles.
No, it's not a concern now because I can only coach the guys that are here. As a coach, we're going to coach the guys that are here. And Sam gets there, we're getting caught up. Until then, we go as planned.
Meantime, at Giants camp, GM Dick Gettleman with the media. His aggressive lymphoma is in remission.
I had this crazy idea that I should do what the doctors told me. So I did. And I'm in a hell of a place. Physically. I feel good.
Still has 3 more rounds of treatment to go, but we expect to return to work full-time at some point this season. Sports at 15:45. Around the clock, Chris Lepresti, 1010 Wins Sports.
Winds news time 5:47.
Obesity is a serious medical condition, one that demands serious medical solutions. So it's good to know that NYU Winthrop Hospital offers the widest choice of safe, effective, medically supervised treatment options in the tri-state area. NYU Winthrop is a leader in bariatric weight loss surgery and the first hospital in New York to use advanced Da Vinci robotic surgery for weight loss to reduce discomfort and speed recovery. Top diet for fast weight loss by U.S. News and World Report. Our diet is managed by endocrinologists, dietitians, and nurse practitioners, and is ideal for needing to lose 30 or more pounds. And NYU Winthrop is among the first in the nation to offer revolutionary V-Block, a pacemaker-type device that blocks nerve signals to control appetite and eating patterns. To learn more about NYU Winthrop's medical weight loss programs, call 1-866-WINTHROP or go to nyuwinthrop.org. NYU Winthrop Hospital. Your health means everything.
If you want to save time and money on parking at the best events in New York this summer, reserve your spot in advance with Spot Hero. From outdoor concerts to dinner in Manhattan, or just a night on the town with friends, Spot Hero has you covered. Simply download the Spot Hero app and type in your destination. Spot Hero will show you the closest parking spots and prices. Then and reserve the space you want and use promo code 1010 to save $10 off your first spot. That's promo code 1010. Spot Hero. Park smarter.
With news time 5:48, we have a severe thunderstorm warning in effect for Queens, Brooklyn, and Manhattan until 6 p.m. A flash flood warning remains in effect for Staten Island, Brooklyn, and Manhattan, along with Hudson, Union, and Essex counties in New Jersey until 6 p.m. 1010 Winds will always be on the radio, but beginning August 1st, the 1010 Winds stream will be leaving TuneIn and moving to radio.com. Go to radio.com/listen or download the radio.com app now to continue listening to the 1010 Winds stream and many other radio stations. That's radio.com/listen. With news time 5:49, CBS took a 6% stumble today. It stopped, that is, after the company said it was investigating misconduct claims against CEO Les Moonves. Correspondent Aaron Petersky has more.
An unpublished New Yorker article is expected to contain allegations of personal misconduct against CBS. In a preemptive statement, CBS said it is committed to investigating which CBS said involved recently reported allegations that go back several decades. They come as Moonves is battling for control of CBS with the Redstone family, which wants to merge with Viacom. CBS questioned the timing of this report amid the company's very public legal dispute.
Moonves himself hasn't commented. The New Yorker has just posted the article about the allegations in which 4 women described what they said were incidents of forcible touching and kissing. With news time 5:50, the teenage woman whose husband and 4 daughters were killed in a crash on a Delaware highway a few weeks ago is calling for criminal charges against the truck driver involved.
This guy over and over again. Justice will not bring them back. But we will be in a safer place.
This tiny silver cart selling coffee and donuts near Battery Park. Last year, the New York City Council passed a law that will soon require vendors like himself to post the same type of letter grades health inspectors already give to restaurants. The letter A means no serious health violations. A C, substantial violations, but not enough to be shut down. The change may mean more inspections, but Insoft says it will be great for business.
I think it's a good idea. We as a vendors have opportunity to show how good we are, and we have to participate in the being sanitized and clean like restaurants.
All of the trucks that we work with always make sure to have the highest standards, and as a result, all of the trucks, the majority of our members are very supportive.
Benjamin Goldberg is the president of the New York Food Truck Association. He says there's one problem. To make inspections easier, the city's Department of Health wants to install GPS trackers on all mobile food vending units. Every gourmet burger vendor, every ice cream truck, every hot dog cart. And vendors are concerned.
What they're worried about and what they're not really supportive of is being tracked by the city, because it's a slippery slope to saying and seeing how fast they're going, or if they're parked in, an area where they should be getting a ticket. I think that scares them, and understandably so.
But for a lot of street vendors, GPS tracking is unsettling for a bigger reason. Matthew Shapiro is the legal director for the Street Vendor Project.
The vast majority of vendors in New York City are immigrants, and especially in this political climate with the strict stance that the federal government is taking on immigration enforcement, folks that are already pretty vulnerable just by working in public space are very worried now that their locations where they're working might fall into the wrong hands.
The city's health department would not make anyone available for an interview, but in a written statement, it said it needs GPS trackers to find food vendors. While some units are checked several times in a season, the department says it currently can't find about 20% of vendors when it wants to. It also says it would not continuously track vending units and would only disclose the tracking information if required by law. But Shapiro says this protection isn't enough to keep vendors safe.
The only response that we've heard is that they'll only disclose the information that they obtain from these devices by law, which is exactly the problem, because the federal government, in order to subpoena this type of information, and that information could get into the immigration enforcement, and that's why a lot of vendors are worried.
Many vendors operate in the same place from day to day. Some even tweet their locations out so loyal customers can find them.
Green Gatorade, my granola bar. What? Almost
Abdullah Insaf says he doesn't want a tracker on his car, and he doesn't think others will either.
That is not a good idea. This is their personal part, so I would say that's unconstitutional. I mean, nobody would like, what if I put you in this situation? You wouldn't like your car to be tracked. Nobody would like that.
The health department took public comments on its proposal in early July and is reviewing them now. If it decides to go ahead, the letter grading and GPS installation could begin as soon as September. Nikki Goldland, WNYC News.
From NPR News, this is All Things Considered. I'm Audie Cornish. And I'm Elsa Chang. Now an update on the situation for some of the most well-known figures in the Syrian civil war, the White Helmet Rescue Workers. About 100 members of the U.S.-backed group were evacuated from southern Syria days ago. It was a complex rescue that took them through Israel to Jordan. Many others are stuck, and they're still in danger of being caught by Syrian forces retaking territory. NPR's Ruth Sherlock in Beirut spoke to some of them.
حاليا أنا موجود بمنطقة درعا.
Currently I'm there with Dar'a, of course after trying to escape Syria. It hasn't worked out, for many reasons, including the fighting. Now the area we're in is under attack.
This is one of the White Helmet rescuers who didn't make it out of Syria this week.
فجماعة القنيطرة احنا وصل وقت المعارك لمنطقة القنيطرة.
He and his family tried to get to the point from which they'd be taken out of the southern province of Dera, but a heavy bombardment delayed them, and by the time they did get there, it was too late. As a rescuer for the US-backed White Helmets, which works in opposition areas, he says he and his family are wanted by the regime. And now he's trapped in a territory that the government has retaken.
The fear is tearing our hearts and our kids' hearts apart. The regime won't have a pardon to the civil defense. We can't move, we can't go out of the house, we can't do anything. The fear is following us.
He is one of hundreds of rescuers who didn't make it out in the evacuation. The White Helmets are famous for their dramatic emergency rescues, and the cameras attached to their helmets have spotlighted the cruelty of the war. They show civilians, many of them children, maimed or trapped under the rubble of airstrikes by the regime or its supporters. So the Syrian government sees them as enemies. On a scratchy phone line, Syrian politician Farid Shahabi insists the White Helmets are agents of the West because they're backed by foreign governments. He notes their evacuation to Jordan was aided by Israel.
Why would rescuers be extracted through the Israeli occupation army? Because they are not rescuers. Because they are foreign agents.
Shahabi says their real job is to demonize, through the videos they film, the actions of the Syrian Arab army. James, a measurer who helped found the White Helmets, says the Syrian government singles them out even more than rebel fighters.
Government of Syria has an obsession, vitriolic hatred for the White Helmets.
He says they're not even allowed to take part in the surrender deals that the regime strikes with armed opponents, which allow them to board buses to other rebel-held areas.
In at least 5 meetings, it was made explicitly clear that evacuation would be tolerated for any colour of armed actor, from both moderate to radical Islamists, but it would be utterly unacceptable for any White Helmet to be evacuated.
He says that in one meeting, the regime even referred to the White Helmets as vermin that should be eradicated. Now in southern Syria, they are wanted men and women. As rebel fighters and their families board the buses to leave, Measurer says soldiers ask them to identify any White Helmets they know. So the rescuers try to get out by whatever means they can. Some use family connections to the regime or try to pay their way out. Alaa al-Ahmed didn't have that option, so he and his family bluffed their way past Syrian soldiers to board one of the buses taking rebels to the northern opposition province of Idlib.
It was so difficult. We were sure we would be killed. The feeling of fear did not leave for a second until we made it.
They made it to Idlib, where more than 3,000 White Helmets are based. Syria could come under attack too. He appeals for help.
We've been saving people people from under the rubble and helping people. Now we want the international community to help us. There could be a battle any second and the regime could end our lives.
I just really want to get out of here, he says. I want to escape death. Ruth Sherlock, NPR News, Beirut.
And you're listening to WNYC. Later tonight on Marketplace, New York City's public housing needs more than $32 billion in repairs, and the Housing Authority alone can't foot the bill. And that situation is not unique to New York.
In every city in the country, public housing is in trouble for the exact same reason. Public housing as we know it is starting to disappear.
The public housing crisis across America. That's Marketplace at 6:30 right here on WNYC.
Support for NPR comes from member stations and from Exact Sciences, offering Cologuard for average-risk adults over 50, a non-invasive colon cancer screening test that can be used at home by prescription only. Information at cologuardtest.com. The Alliance for Lifetime Income, a nonprofit composed of financial services organizations working to educate Americans about options for securing protected lifetime income in retirement. More at allianceforlifetimeincome.org. And Zoom. Zoom offers cloud video conferencing, online meetings, and a video conference room solution in one platform, featuring digital video and audio with screen sharing, account registration, and more at zoom.us.
This is WNYC, FM, HD, and AM, New York.
The Trump administration says it has reunited over 1,500 migrant children with their parents, but hundreds are still separated a day after court-imposed reunification. I'm Jamie Floyd. This is All Things Considered. President Trump is crediting his policies with a growing economy.
We've turned it all around. Once again, we are the economic envy of the entire world.
Trump is enjoying some good news stories this week, but President Trump is denying a CNN report alleging he was aware of the Trump Tower meeting with the Russians and top members of his presidential campaign. Also, Sheldon Silver is sentenced again, and we've got the sentence just ahead. Stay tuned.
Live from NPR News in Washington, I'm Nora Rahm. Pentagon experts are examining 55 boxes believed to hold remains of U.S. troops from the Korean War. NPR's Bill Lawrence reports the boxes were released from North Korea this morning.
It's the first time North Korea has repatriated American war dead in more than a decade. In the past, boxes sometimes contained bones from more than one person. The Pentagon has a database of DNA samples from troops still listed as missing in action. 5,300 of them are believed to be in North Korea. Secretary of Defense Jim Mattis said the gesture may help families stop wondering about their loved ones.
For us, we have families that when they got the telegram have never had children. They've never, gone out and had the body returned.
Mattis added that these could also be remains of troops from any of more than a dozen nations that fought in Korea under a United Nations flag. Bill Lawrence, NPR News.
Firefighters near the Northern California city of Redding are trying to save lives and homes from an intense wildfire. It's burned nearly 45,000 acres and destroyed at least 65 buildings. As NPR's Eric Westervelt reports, more than 35,000 people have had to leave the area.
Fed by high winds, soaring temperatures, and
Plan today to reform the city's police department. More than a year ago, the Justice Department found a long history of civil rights violations by Chicago police. Illinois Attorney General Lisa Madigan says the changes come after public demand that something be done.
As we reached out to communities and to police officers, we heard tremendous anger and frustration. We heard a tale of two cities. Too many Chicago residents do not feel safe in their communities, but also do not feel safe calling the police.
Among other changes, officers must issue verbal warnings before using force, and the department must provide monthly reports on when force is used. A federal court will oversee compliance.
The Commerce Department reports the economy grew at an annual rate of 4.1% in the second quarter of the year, the fastest pace in nearly 4 years. Checking stocks, the Nasdaq lost 1.5% to close at 7737. The Dow fell 76 points, while the S&P dropped 18 points. This is NPR News.
And you're listening to WNYC in New York at 6:04. I'm Jamie Floyd. The former Speaker of the New York State Assembly, Sheldon Silver, was sentenced to 7 years in prison today after being convicted for a second time on federal corruption charges. Karen DeWitt reports.
Silver was found guilty earlier this year of using the power of his office to illegally gain over $4 million in kickbacks and bribes. Silver, from Manhattan's Lower East Side, was the second longest tenured Assembly Speaker in state history, before having to resign when he was indicted in 2015. The judge rejected a request from Silver's attorneys that instead of jail time, he should serve on a help desk for New Yorkers trying to navigate the state's complex bureaucracy. The sentencing comes just 1 week after another former majority party legislative leader, former Senator Dean Skelos, was found guilty of using his influence to secure no-show jobs for his son.
New York City Mayor Bill de Blasio is admitting that the city's crackdown on illegal parking permits has not amounted to very much. The city did see a 50% increase in tickets over placard abuse, however, between 2016 and 17. But 1 year later, the public outcry on Twitter and blogs is still raging. The mayor on WNYC's Brian Lehrer show essentially agreed.
Not happy about the overall effort. I don't think the city agencies have done a good enough job.
2 months ago, also on WNYC, de Blasio said he'd announce a more aggressive policy, quote, very soon. Today, he said his aides are still working on it. A thunderstorm is still making its way across our region, including New York City. Inbound and outbound flights at JFK, LaGuardia, and Newark airports are all experiencing delays due to the weather. Tomorrow should be humid but partly sunny with a slight chance of rain and even thunderstorms. Highs tomorrow in the upper 80s. Currently it's 77 degrees and rain is falling in Central Park at 6:06.
Support for NPR comes from the National Endowment for the Arts, the federal agency that supports the arts and creativity in communities across the nation. More information is available at arts.gov.
It's All Things Considered. PR News, I'm Audie Cornish.
And I'm Elsa Chang. President Trump is taking a victory lap of sorts after the release of strong economic numbers. Trump says the robust growth in the economy is the result of his policies. He says America has come back.
But we've turned it all around. Once again, we are the economic envy of the entire world.
The White House is looking to leave the week on a high note after Trump's fight with his former lawyer and fallout from the special counsel investigation clouded the administration's positive outlook. Joining us to talk about all of this now is NPR White House reporter Aisha Vasco. Hey, Aisha.
Hello.
So what a week. Let's just start with the strong.
$10 off your first spot. That's promo code 880. Spot Hero. Park smarter.
Welcome to Air Italy, a new kind of airline where every detail has been carefully crafted to immerse you in true Italian hospitality and style. So be our guest and fly direct to Milan from JFK, then continue to Rome, Naples, or Sicily, where you can explore wonders like the Amalfi Coast, Capri, or the ruins of Agrigento. Round-trip flights start from $644. AirItaly.com or call 1-866-387-6359. Air Italy. Imagine the world differently.
6:08 at WCBS. Traffic and weather together on the 8, sponsored by Air Italy. Round-trip flights start from $647 from JFK to Milan. Let's check in with Tom Kaminsky.
All right, with some of the heaviest rain now over Brooklyn, parts of Queens, we've had delays BQE and Gowanus both ways between Queens Boulevard and the Verrazano Bridge. I'm seeing it stopped on the Belt Parkway from Kennedy Airport right on over to the Verrazano Bridge. The eastbound side is not one bit better from the Verrazano right out through Cross Bay Boulevard. You get across the Verrazano Bridge and delays on the Staten Island Expressway right out through the Goethals Bridge. And then in turn, the New Jersey Turnpike, the inner and outer lanes very heavy from 14 right on down for interchange 11 in Woodbridge. It is just a mess there. We've had flooding on the Garden State Parkway from that area of the Driscoll Bridge right up through at least the area of 131 in Island. Kathy checking in with that. Kathy, thank you for that. We've had delays on Route 287 around exit 3 in Edison. We had flooding there. We go back on over to the west side, down at 72nd Street. Watch for a crash there. Northbound side delays from 12th Avenue up to the outbound GWB, the northbound FDR Drive with flooding around 96th Street. So we're down from just about the area of the Brooklyn Bridge all the way up on the FDR Drive, and then more delays from the 130s up to the outbound GWB. I'm Tom Kaminsky in the WCBS Traffic Center. Back to the Weather Center, and Craig Allen has been watching this one thunderstorm that's kind of parked over Staten Island.
Yes, sir. And, I've been watching them develop and die out. And last night, we only had one or two to watch. Tonight, as mentioned, we were going to have quite a lot more to deal with. And we are really pretty much covered around New York City and all points south and west, where some of the strongest storms continue to linger. And they're actually building back, developing across portions of Union County, Middlesex County now, too. I do see some flood warnings. Yeah, we're now up to a flood warning again for parts of Middlesex County till 9. A flood advisory, which is just a little bit lower on the scale, but nonetheless, be very careful. You don't want to drive into this. Has been issued until 9 o'clock. Yes, it's been extended till 9 o'clock for the boroughs, as well as sections of Hudson and Union County, as well as Essex, and it is moving generally in a northeast direction, but it's also expanding eastward across parts of Brooklyn and Queens, and as I said, that's the reason why the boroughs are in this as well. So it's going to be tough for the next several hours. It goes down the Jersey Turnpike, west through 78. It has not really made it on up into the northern portion of the state. This one particular cell, as you said, Michael, is parked. Showers heavy for the first part of the night, 67 to 72. Tomorrow it will not be this. In fact, it will be a little less humid, 83 to 88. And Sunday a mix of clouds and sun. It's warm, but it's not too humid. It's not a bad day with a high about 85. Right now in the city with rain, we have 76 degrees.
Craig Allen. A grand jury will review the death of a Bronx man who stopped breathing in a Schenectady police car after being stopped for a traffic violation. 36-year-old Andrew Kearse died in May of last year. Police say Kearse ran from police after he was pulled over. He later lost consciousness during the 3-mile drive to the police station.
Another Met traded away. We'll check sports next. I'm Jonathan Greenhut, the CEO of Plexiderm. And people often ask me if our product really works to cosmetically shrink under-eye bags and wrinkles from view in minutes. I can't blame you for being skeptical. It was hard for me to believe until I saw my brother-in-law's under-eye bags cosmetically shrink from view in minutes.
I was a little skeptical, I am not going to lie, because I saw people online.
To the area in the car and truck lanes is a standstill out of Newark. Northbound bad in both the inner and outer roadway. From right around North Brunswick Garden State Parkway, you've got northbound lanes closed near exit 131 with the water. That'll slow you down from before the Driscoll Bridge. Southbound closed out of East Orange. Delay on down past Island. And 287 getting into the area. The closer you get, the worse that is. Here's what you need to know about the bridges and tunnels. Inbound Georgia looking at least an hour to the upper 45 to the lower. Over at the Lincoln Tunnel is still about an hour in, 45 out. Holland 30 in, 60 minutes out. Southbound a wreck on the west side of the 70s knocks out the left lane. Northbound slows from the 70s to the George. Southbound FDR Drive, the earlier trouble near the UN is gone, but the brake lights are not slow from the 130s on down. The northbound mess from the Brooklyn Bridge to the George Washington Bridge. Traffic sponsored by Island Subaru. I'm Greg Rice on 1010.
Save on 300 new Subarus. Island Subaru, Staten Island. Every model, every option. Buy in person, buy online. Island Subaru delivers to you. Island's got your back. IslandSubaru.com.
The time 6:12. Now the official 10-10 winds actually on the 4-day forecast by St. Francis Hospital. And here is meteorologist now with this live report.
Storms still continuing to pound much of the tri-state area, and still heavy rain lined up from Staten Island over into Brooklyn. More storms firing to the south and west over Middlesex County. Basically heading anywhere along the New Jersey Turnpike in Middlesex County, running into those storms right now. And that's the main threat. Very heavy rainfall and the potential for flash flooding. These storms can easily dump 1 to 2 inches per hour. Also, some underground lightning with these storms. Not too much in terms of wind right now, but a storm that does develop could briefly turn severe with damaging wind gusts, maybe some small. And then we'll have just lingering showers late tonight down to 72. Maybe a pop-up storm tomorrow, but most of tomorrow will be dry up to 86. With more humidity Sunday, high 84. Still nice on Monday, and then maybe another shower, thunderstorm drifting in Tuesday. Right now in Central Park, 76 with rain, going down to 72 in Midtown. I'm AccuWeather's John Fear, New York's weather station, 1010 Wind.
Wednesday news time, 6:14.
Hey, New York City. Geico presents need-to-know information because you have to draw the line between what you need to know and what you don't.
Sometimes I wear something I grabbed off the floor if it passes the smell test.
See, you didn't need to know that. But when it comes to insurance, the more you know, the better. Like knowing Geico is the #1 auto insurer in your area and the second largest in the country. Plus, they've been around for over 75 years and have a 97% customer satisfaction rating.
Yeah, the dog food before. It really didn't taste that bad.
Again, not really needed. But knowing Geico is more than just car insurance is important, like motorcycle, RV, and boat insurance. And the Geico insurance can help you insure your home, apartment, and condo.
If I forget someone's name, I call them dude or man, and then avoid talking.
And it is not needed. But you should know local agents in your area could help you find even more savings with Geico, like military or federal discounts. And Geico offers emergency roadside service. Switching insurance is an important decision. You can never know too much about it. So New York City. Contact Geico online, over the phone, or at your local office for all the information you really need.
St. Francis is #1 for TAVR on Long Island. No other hospital has done more minimally invasive heart valve replacement. We were a pioneer in the development of TAVR, and we helped change the way aortic valve disease is treated. So you could say we've saved more lives with TAVR than any other hospital of Long Island. Consultations available in Roslyn and West Cyprus. Call 1-88-HEART-NY.
Wednesday news time, 6:15. And now from the WFAN Sports Desk, here is Joey Long.
Evening, Larry. With baseball's trade deadline approaching, as expected, multiple reports say the Mets are dealing infielder Asdrubal Cabrera reportedly to the Phillies. The Athletics' Ken Rosenthal says the Mets get Double-A righty starter Franklin Killamay, the Phil's #10 prospect. Mets seeking their 4th straight win, visiting Pittsburgh. Jason Vargas with his ERA above 8.5 after the St. Louis facing a Nova. Mets also signing veteran Austin Jackson as outfield insurance, designating Matt Dendecker for assignment. Meanwhile, Yanks now reportedly seeking another outfield bat, with Aaron Judge expected to miss 3 weeks with that wrist injury. Yanks host the Royals. Pregame on the fan shortly at 25. CC Sabathia against Brad Keller. Giancarlo Stanton assuming Judge's usual spots in right field and batting second. Infielder Tyler Wade back up from AAA. So the Red Sox it's the Twins later, leading the Yanks by 4.5. No Sam Darnold today at the Jets practice opener. That over concerning language of his contract. Jets want some salary protection if Darnold were cut and signed with another team. And Giants general manager Dave Gettleman at training camp today saying his lymphoma is in remission as his chemotherapy continues.
I just finished rounds of it. Had 4 so far from it. And certainly excited about it. And just got to keep going.
So some great news there. Sports 15:45 round the clock. Joey Waller, 10-10 wins for.
I want science classes with 20 people, not 300.
I want teachers who know my name.
I need someone to help me navigate through my college years.
With 7 locations, a variety of majors, and instructors who care, Touro College's NISCAS has all the advantages of a large university with the individual attention you deserve. Call 877-962-7331. That's 877-962-7331. NISCAS, college with a personal touch.
Wednesday news time, 6:17.
My mom has kind of an 80s thing, like a permanently stuffy. We're talking teased up feathered hair, acid wash denim jacket, and shoulder pads. So many shoulder pads. I've tried to bring her up to speed, but after a week or so, she's right back to the regular. But I just got a new phone from AT&T. Check this out. It came with a second one for free. It's the perfect for my mom's phone, which I'm not sure she can text on if she even knew how. So I figured I'd find it. She loves her 80s TV. That will totally help her through all her favorite shows and live studio. Come into an AT&T store, buy a smartphone, and get one on us. AT&T, more for your thing. That's our thing. That's limited time in areas. Select devices. Each requires up to $900 on installment agreement. Requires 1 new line and minimum $75 per month service. Free after credits over 30 months, starting within 3 bills. Cancel service, device balance is due. $30 activation, additional fees, taxes, and supply. See your local AT&T store for details. Or the
Living and working in New York, we're used to the best. That's why when you're in New York City, you need to visit our Trump Premier Service will help you get where you need to go. With over 300 locations, you're never far from an Icon or Quick Car garage. Visit us today at iconparking.com or download our app, Icon Go. Icon, we park New York. Now a commercial message.
You know that expression, 24/7? Here in New York, we're moving around 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, in all 5 boroughs. And that's why we like Uber. You can get a ride no matter where you live or what you look like. No hassles, no surprises. Millions of New Yorkers use apps like Uber to help them get around, especially in places that get ignored by yellow taxis and don't have other affordable options. But the City Council is proposing new rules that could make everything worse. It would make it harder to get a ride when you want, where you want, make rides more expensive, and take away the option to share your ride so you can pay even less. Call your City Council member at 866-4365 and tell them, don't strand New Yorkers. That's 866-UBER-365. Paid for by Uber Technologies Inc.
10 Wins is a proud supporter of Harlem Week 2018. For a list of all the events, go to harlemweek.com. The news watch never stops. This is 10 Wins. We'll give you the word. Rain in 76 degrees at 6:20. July 27th, I'm Larry Mullen. Here's what's happening. The head of CBS under the microscope tonight over claims of sexual misconduct. Les Moonves accused of unwanted kissing and touching. Coming up, we've got his response to it all. The entire family in a terrible wreck, and today a teenage woman says the man who crashed into their vehicle should be brought to justice. But police say the driver was not drunk. Al Jones in New Rochelle, where police investigating the gruesome discovery of a woman's body found in the driveway of the old building on Main Street. Trying to figure out how she died and who she is. And the Philippine court giving the U.S. permission to extradite a doctor suspected of being an ISIS sympathizer and plotting bombings and shootings at New York City concert venue. That department says Crowley died tonight. A leftover shower or two and 11:72. And in court.
This is Joey Wallace in Cincinnati. The Yankees host the Royals. Mets trade infielders Dribble Cabrera to the Phillies for minor league pitcher Jason Vargas and those Mets in Pittsburgh.
I'm Bloomberg's Larry Cosby. Stocks ended lower, weighed down by technology shares. The Dow tumbled 76. The Nasdaq plunged 114.
Wednesday time 6:21. From the Ram Trucks Traffic Center, expanded traffic and transit tonight. Here is Rick Rice.
Larry, somebody's not going to make the classic car show tonight. And looking at this on the 1010 Wins GM team, we've got a classic T-Bird that broke down on the eastbound Long Island Expressway. It knocks out the left lane near Queens Boulevard and just sits in the middle of a big-time backup from right around the area of the DQE all the way out through Main Street. If you want to look at this on T-Bird, we have tweeted out a picture at our 1010 Wins Twitter account. Here's what you need to know about the bridges and tunnels. Inbound George, about an hour up, 40 to the lower. Lincoln still about an hour in, 30 out. Holland, we're looking at 30 in, 60 minutes on the outbound side. The flooding in Jersey, it's a mess. You've got flooding in both the car and truck lanes, both northbound and southbound. The Turnpike through Carteret, so the southbound ride is standstill out of Newark. Northbound from Parkway crawls either way towards exit 131 with flooding. The northbound backups go back over the Driscoll Bridge from the South Amboy. The belt in Brooklyn both ways between the Verrazano and Pennsylvania Avenue also slammed because of all of the flooding and the ride going through Long Island. Here's what we see on the big three. Eastbound Long Island Expressway back to 1067, again east of Plainview to Dix Hills. Southern State Parkway, it's an eastbound mess from Malvern all the way out to 110. Westbound sprawls coming back towards the area of Eagle Avenue. Northern State Parkway, not an easy westbound go of it from Roslyn back towards the Cross Island Parkway. I'm Greg Rice on 1010 Wins.
Wins News Time 6:22. What's it like where you're standing right now? We're getting light rain here at our studios, although we're hearing from folks in other areas who say it's more like a monsoon.
And now, a severe weather alert from 1010 Wins.
Yeah, it's been one of those days, but it's going to get better as the night progresses. AccuWeather meteorologist John Pierce here now with the details.
Yeah, no warning in effect right now. That's good news, but a lot of heavy rain that's leading to flooding issues. So if you do encounter high water, don't drive, turn around, don't drown. That's what they say, and certainly holds true today. Line of storms pretty much lifting northeast.
Said, your narcissism for sale. Lynn Zelavansky is a curator and art historian who has done shows about Kusama's work.
She wanted to talk about the art world and the fact that the art world was so enchanted with itself, and the fact that most human beings on this planet could not afford the art that was being shown at the Venice Biennale, and that's why she sold the walls for $2 each.
So why recreate this work at Fort Tilden in Queens in the Rockaways?
This is part of an ongoing free public art series called Rockaway, with an exclamation point at the end. And it's led by MoMA PS1 and its director Klaus Biesenbach and the artist Patti Smith. They are friends and they have homes in the Rockaways, and they saw the damage from Sandy in 2012, and it's an area that's still, seeing beach erosion. This is Biesenbach talking about it all.
I think it's very important to not think about Rockaway as a festival for art's sake. It really has a different meaning, and I think it's very important for us that it's raising awareness for this very vulnerable area here.
And he talks about the vulnerability of the Rockaways in the face of what are sure to be storms again in the future. Charlie, how does this garden of reflective silver spheres tie into the recovery effort?
Well, first of all, an artist like Kusama really brings out the crowds, and it is a bit of a journey to get to the Rockaways. And by the way, I would suggest going by water. So it's possible that she will bring people out to a place that maybe they don't visit very often, or maybe they're not even aware of. And in coming to the site, they will learn about the issues and community, and that's what the power of this work of art is. This is Laura Hoffman. She's a curator at MoMA, and then you'll hear at the end Lynn Zelavansky.
It's an example of the way that art can enter into our daily life, speak to us, and move us.
It's an experience. It's an experience in a way, and it's a constantly shifting experience. So it's very engaging and very beautiful.
This is a women-made garden in a man-made structure, and when you see the spheres, you can see yourself in them, but you also see the building around you and the park, and in a way, you've put it all together, and each of you has an effect on the other, and you can consider your role in the environment and in the Rockaways.
The garden is now on view at the Gateway National Recreation Area. It's at Fort Tilden until Labor Day. Charlie, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Time now for our documentary of the week from Tom Powers and Raphael Amazing, co-founders of the Doc NYC Festival and Pure Nonfiction Podcast. Here's Raphael with this week's pick.
Over 70 million Americans have some kind of implanted medical device. The Netflix documentary, Bleeding Edge, is a cautionary tale of unforeseen complications. Dr. Michael Carone is an activist on this issue.
Most people believe a medical device they implanted, be it a pacemaker or a joint, that those medical devices have undergone appropriate testing to demonstrate that they're safe and effective before they came on the market and doctors started using it. But for most moderate and high-risk devices, that is not the case.
Director Kirby Dick profiles patients who had life-threatening consequences from birth control implants, hip replacements, and other devices. He documents how government oversight has fallen woefully short. Now, deregulation has become a presidential mantra.
Create an order which says that for every one new regulation, all regulations must be eliminated.
The billion-dollar industry of medical devices likes to market its innovation. But Dr. Rita Redbird, an editor for the Journal of the American Medical Association, questions that language.
Just because you have a new technology doesn't mean it's innovation. And I think too often I hear people say, oh, you're going to stifle innovation. They're not talking about stifling innovation. They're talking about stifling putting untested devices on the market. That's not innovative.
If you have an implanted medical device or you're thinking about getting one, this film will load you up with important questions to ask first. Bleeding Edge is now playing on Netflix. For more information, visit wnyc.org/docs.
Well, a bit later on, what's on the menu is brought to you by Food Town. Smart savings, smart brand, smart reward. Shop Food Town. Now that's smart. A bit later on the lead-up spot, Susan will talk with Aaron Hicks. And I will have who's hot, who's not this date in Yankees history, and much more. But first of all, it's Susan and Aaron Boone on the Manager Show. And that's brought to you by your Mercedes-Benz Tri-State dealers, vehicle offers, and inventory at MBUSA.com.
In the manager's office at Yankee Stadium, I'm Susan Wellman along with Aaron Boone, and let's get right to it. Last thing you wanted to hear is that Aaron Judge has a broken bone in his wrist.
Yeah, we got that news, obviously upsetting. You know, the good news is that it's not something that requires surgery. It's not something that he's even going to need a cast, and probably within a week we'll start swinging a bat again. So that 3-week timeline, we feel like has a chance to be real, and anytime you're talking about a broken hand, wrist,
tee and toss, and all those kinds of things to work up to that.
Correct. So we think in a week he's dry swinging, hitting off a tee, and I think there's a real chance that 3 weeks from now he's playing in a game, potentially even with us. It's just going to be kind of something, pain management, and we'll see where we go and see where we are a week from now, 10 days from now, 2 weeks from now.
Because wrists are funny things, and if you don't have strength in your wrist, that's not really good to swing a bat with, right?
Absolutely. And, so hopefully, the start back, the rehab back has started, and in the meantime, he'll be keeping his legs fresh and doing all his lower body stuff, and then as the week unfolds, we'll start being able to add some upper body stuff so that he's able to stay in shape while he's rehabbing that wrist.
When this team doesn't have home run hitters, like I'll put Sanchez in there too. He hasn't done that. Do you have to change at all your approach to what you're doing because the big guy's not in the middle lineup?
I don't think it changes us a lot. I mean, there will be some times where you may be a little more inclined to, be a little more aggressive on the bases, do some things where we won't get too hit and run, bunt, or those kind of things, but if, your personnel changes a little bit, you do have to be a little more creative sometimes and try to create a run.
Tell me when it comes back here, Shane Robinson gets to stay at least for right now.
Is your period he bounces around and gets his work in, great, or coming back. We're going to have to give him a day eventually. So he becomes a very valuable player for us just with his versatility.
Maybe not before game time.
Yeah, the good thing is that it is a difficult decision because, really good players around in that room that have really contributed. So there's so many moving parts and balls in the air right now, and we'll just see how it plays out over the next hours. Okay, thank you.
That was the Manager Show, brought to you by York. Install confidence. We'll be back with more of the news on the Commuter Show on the WFM Kids Radio Network.
GDP number priced in might be the phrase you're looking for. We'll have the details when we do that. Corporate story of the day today comes to us from Ted, which to be honest, has really been having a lousy week. Facebook we told you about yesterday. Twitter shares Twitter today on its earnings numbers, but behold, Amazon, if you would, it reported quarterly profit of $2.5 billion. That is a nearly 1,200% increase if you want to do the math. And so they're saying for the last year. Amazon is, of course, a high-end retailer when you can, if you so choose, buy a year's worth of McDonald's or a grocery bill to your house. But one of the biggest moneymaker, well, there's nothing to do with it. Here to remember that back at the beginning of all this tariff stuff, before the retaliation and the back and forth, all of it, which really seems like a very long time ago, it started with steel and aluminum. There are provisions in tariff regulations and law for American companies that use imported steel they say they can't get from American suppliers. to request what are called exclusions, to have specific imported items excluded from the tariff. More than 28,000 exclusion requests have been filed with the Department of Commerce, including a handful from the Max Detweiler Company. They make precision steel blades used in commercial printing. Walter Siegenthaler is the executive vice president at Detweiler. We've talked to him, I think, at least. Well, it's good to have you back.
Good to speak to you again, Frank.
Last time we had you on, we kind of went through the tariff exemption, exclusion process. You were in the middle of a bunch of it. I don't think we could say you were hopeful. How's it going?
Kind of mixed, because out of the 9 exclusions we requested, 3 of them got granted, and 5 of them got denied, and 1 of them we don't have an answer yet.
Well, that's not a great batting average, and I'm sure it's not doing much for your bottom line, huh?
Yeah, it's helping a little bit. It's better than all denied, but what's confusing for us is we have no clue why some of them got denied and some of them not. Because it's the same material, a little bit different thickness, but we are talking about a difference of 2,000 of the.
There was an American company who could make the product you don't.
Well, during the comment period there were no comments, and we are not aware of they can make this product. What we are afraid of is they looked at it and said, okay, it's a thicker material that can be made, but the whole material has to be way better strong than steel, otherwise we get damage from the bricks while we are wiping it. So that is totally mixed.
How is it that even believed it?
The malicious insinuation that Ms. Redstone is somehow behind the allegations is false and self-serving. She said Redstone hopes the investigation by CBS's witness is fully open and transparent. Reuters quoted in the article that there were times, decades ago, when I made mistakes and when insisted on making advances. Those were mistakes, and I regretted immensely. I always understood and respected and abided by the principle that no means no, and I had never misused my time to hinder anyone's career. In a statement tonight, CBS Corporation said its independent investigation of alleged misconduct at CBS is ongoing and will include the allegations in the New Yorker story, and that the CBS investigation was launched last fall. Former CBS Personal host Charlie Rose was accused of sexual harassment and related affairs, and he denied those allegations.
CBS, is liability over the world. We're looking at the spy film. First, the unfortunate traffic and transportation. Delays out there on the December 1st,
world music, saying they do it more the most unique place around. Marcia Brown, the Marcia Brown, the wedding venue. And you know, darling.
DeSantis, you need to call me now. And Norman Carpet Warehouse is serving a largest selection of commercial products in the Delaware Valley. I specialize in overruns, outlets, and distance and style. Norman Carpet Warehouse offers installation, and yes, we can install within 48 hours. Call 800-220-ROBERTS. Call Norman Flooring to save 50% of our competitors' best price. Now that's not chopped liver.
Over $1 billion in annual sales. Municipal Appliance Warehouse Hudson Tarrytown to offer you the lowest prices on your favorite brands. Like saving up to 40% on food appliances during the Sunday Series sale going on now. Stop by to see all the entire series of electrical appliances and Syrian and every other appliance store. Their 13,000 square foot space next showroom and over 40 major brands on display and a team of experts to help you navigate through the inventory and find the best option for your home. Already have appliances picked out? Also compare pricing on all major brands and start saving today at National Appliance Warehouse. Also offering wholesale pricing for builders and contractors. Not ready for delivery today? No problem. Store your purchase process days free of charge. Conveniently located right off 95 and Tax Street Boulevard. Save on sales tax, get the lowest prices guaranteed, and save up to 40% on top brands during the Friends and Family Sale now. Visit a store or online at nationalappliancewarehouse.com.
We have this summer night with an update on the story of our Christmas gift. Gift of what? With the Dogs of Fox is better than Coldwood. Featured in Marsh Point Roadmaster in Palm Beach, Florida. As we first reported a few months ago, it all started when Donna noticed a change in one of her fourth graders.
They did affect the behavior of the
She suspected there was an illusion.
She suspected there was something wrong. Such
She had this severe pain, almost daily, and because she has a rare blood type, the odds of finding a kidney donor were slim.
My parents told me about kidney failure and stuff. I was getting a little down. So I'm not going to It's like a miracle. It's like a miracle.
Of course, the other miracle is Donna, the teacher's daughter. We love our children and then come.
Here's the moment you get me.
In Palm Beach Gardens, Florida. Yeah, they do. That is what you get from the news this week. I'm the doctor. Have a good weekend. We'll see you KRW, KRWHD, and WYPFMHD2, Philadelphia. I'm an architect.
I'm a doctor.
Music producer.
I'm an accountant.
We're business companies.
I found out that I could download big files. Really big files.
Huge files. Chat files.
X-rays. Audio files. Zip files.
In seconds.
Minutes. In seconds.
And with almost
with all their devices.
we have more than enough time.
I said, wow.
Yes, it's a dream come true. Introducing Gig Speed from Comcast Business. With download speeds up to 20 times faster than what most people have. Tons of bandwidth for everything your business does every day. And an affordable price. It's a small business owner's dream. Now, I'm dreaming gig.
Really, really good.
Comcast is building the largest gig speed network in the country. Now more small businesses in more places can dream gig. Comcast Business. Built for business. Visit dreamgig.com to learn more. Restrictions apply. May not be available in all areas. Actual speed vary.
KYW News Time, 7 o'clock.
Breaking news.
The News Authority in Philadelphia.
A radio.com station.
This is Friday, July 27, 2018. Good evening, I'm Frank Kramer. At the broadcast center, with severe thunderstorm watch for the greater listening area through 10 tonight. We also have a flash flood watch for portions of Chester, Montgomery, Bucks, Berks, and the Poconos still 11 years wide. Tonight and overnight, thunderstorms, and some of them could be strong and severe. Now the news this hour. Philadelphia will not renew its PARS data sharing agreement with federal immigration officials.
ICE conceded that its use of PARS can result in immigration enforcement against otherwise law-abiding Philadelphia residents.
I'm Steve Tawa. The ACLU is taking a dozen New Jersey school districts to court, including 3 in Camden County. Reason? Policies that might hold the legal immigrants back. I'm David Matthews. Thousands are trying to get out of the way of out-of-control wildfire flames approaching the city of Redding, Northern California. There was very little warning because of the speed of that fire picked up so dramatically on Taylor. And later on News Radio.
Congress is one step closer to making it easier for women to buy feminine hygiene products. I'm John Stolnis in Washington.
In sports, the Eagles back in town for training camp, and the Phillies are on the road tonight. They're just about to get started against Cincinnati. First pick up at 7:10. The business of down on Wall Street Friday this trading week. The Dow dropped 76 points. The Nasdaq was off by 115. The S&P 500 losing 19.
I'm CBS 3 meteorologist Kate Philo. Mostly cloudy tonight with thunderstorms rumbling through the region. Some strong or severe, also heavy rain is likely. A severe thunderstorm watch is in effect until 10. A flash flood watch until 11. Tonight's low is 72. Tomorrow mostly sunny, less humid, high 89. Coming up, I'll tell you what to expect for your weekend when we check eyewitness weather on KYW News Radio.
Right now, here's the broadcast center. Storm clouds are gathering. Right now, it's cloudy and 79 degrees. KYW News Time, 7:02. Time for traffic and transit on the twos. Here's Brian Ramon. And Frank, we had some heavy rain in a few spots, so be prepared for that. We had some flooding up in Telford on Route 113. That was actually shut down between 309 and Old Bethlehem. But they have at least gotten a lane back in each direction. So we do have the same vehicle on 422 eastbound King of Prussia near Route 23. Looks like they've gotten that off to the side. Still a little bit of a jam up from Cooper Road to that point. Now once you get on the Schuylkill, you're slow eastbound between Conshohocken and Belmont, jammed again from City Avenue down to University. On the westbound side, you're bumper to bumper really from 26th Street to the bottom of the Pratt Bridge, getting onto the westbound Schuylkill, and that continues to divide. Then heading again from the boulevard out around the curve. On the Blue Ridge southbound, delays at Brewball, and then slow again Route 1 down to Baltimore Pike. And then heavy getting on 95 south and slow from that point to 322. Northbound heavy around 452. And then jam from the airport up to Broad Street. A lot of traffic getting off of Broad Street, both directions because of the Billy Joel concert. And the problem on the southbound side of 95 is the jam starts down the Vine, and it's also made worse by an accident in the left lane. Ahead of the bridges, we're seeing delays on the Walt-Whitman heading into Philadelphia, more concert traffic. And then heavy on 42 around 55, we see elevated furniture jam. Mass transit, no major delays. Next update, less than 10 minutes. I'm Brian Road, Tremont Financial Pressure and Traffic Center. Thank you, Brian. KYW News Time 7:04. It's a victory for the city's immigrant community. And the mayor says he's not going to review the city's agreement with U.S. Immigration and Customs that allows ICE access to the police department's arrest database. That's called PARS. With the story from City Hall, here's KYW's Steve Teller.
Mayor Kenny says he's been concerned for some time now that ICE uses PARS in inappropriate ways. A mid-July meeting with ICE officials may have iced the city's
They admitted that their use of cars during ICE enforcement operations can result in immigration enforcement against Philadelphia residents who have not been accused of or convicted of a crime.
City Solicitor Marshall Pratt says they had a strong factual and legal basis.
Our city is safer, healthier, and more inviting when our law-abiding residents, including witnesses and victims of crimes, need not fear that they will suffer adverse immigration consequences in seeking to report crimes.
Miriam Enriquez says the county administration remains committed to maintaining Philadelphia as a welcoming city.
It's a decision that will once again reinforce to our immigrant community that this city is not an extension of ICE.
Steve Tyrell, KYW News Radio.
And over in New Jersey, the ACLU school districts to court, including 3 from Camden County. The agency contends that state law in New Jersey is being violated in a way because those districts are requiring students to be signed up to attend class. We've got to get that and explain why that is something they're concerned about.
The state constitution mandates a free public education for all, but the ACLU argues these 12 districts require parents to produce a state-issued ID card, which illegal immigrants won't have. Staff Attorney Delano Huerta said the agency's done this before.
We don't want to have to litigate this, but we are prepared to do so. Back in 2016, each of the 5. Because the law is so clear, we hope that happens again this time.
Sterling Regional High School is named in the state along with the Belmar and Winslow Township School Districts and 9 others in the northern part of the state. Sterling Regional is not responding to our call, while the for Winslow Township and Belmar is declining comment. David Matthew, KYW News.
KYW News Time, 7:06.
As deadly raging wildfire continues to tear through Northern California, threatening thousands of properties and forcing mass evacuation. Devastating. Homes were exploding. Cars were exploding.
Tom Mayhan ran into a burning neighborhood to help save the home of his friend, firefighter Donovan Lee.
It was pretty intense.
Lee did save his home, closing it down as flames surrounded him.
There were a couple times when I was thinking, I thought maybe this wasn't a good idea.
Judy Hine lost the home she lived in for 18 years. She had enough time to gather some belongings. We transport papers and needs this, but you just don't want to stop there. The fire killed one firefighter who was operating a bulldozer and one from the city of Redding. Danielle Nottingham, CBS News, Sacramento, California.
KYW News Radio, the Delaware Valley Severe Weather Information Station. Coverage sponsored by Horizon Services.
Locally heavy and even severe storms moving through the area this evening into tonight. A severe thunderstorm watch is in effect for the region until 10 o'clock and a flash flood watch in effect for the region now until 11 o'clock tonight. Mostly cloudy with thunderstorms likely again some strong to severe with the risk for damaging wind and again flooding rainfall. The low tonight 72. We will dry out overnight and then tomorrow mostly sunny and less humid with a high of 89. Sunday looks good, mostly sunny, high 86. Monday partly cloudy with late day showers and thunderstorms, the high 87. Tuesday mostly cloudy with another chance for a shower or storm, high 87 again. We're at 88 on Wednesday with clouds and showers and a thunderstorm possible. With your eyewitness weather forecast on CBS, marine meteorologist Kate Philo on KYW News Radio.
Right now, here's the forecast center in Spring Garden. Cloudy, storm clouds are gathering. 79 degrees right now. As you heard Kate say, we're on the way down to 72 with rain. On the way, some of that could be heavy at times. Eyewitness weather is sponsored by Audi Devon. KYW News Time, 7:08.
Welcome to Audi Devon. Family Vision operated for over 60 years and are ranked 70 customer satisfaction among all Audi dealerships in the U.S. Visit for all your servicing needs and prepare for a full luxury experience featuring the best packs in the area, fast and convenient service, professional permanent attention to detail, and more. So find out why Audi Devon's the right choice when your Audi is in need of maintenance or repair. Audi Devon, born in Germany, perfected in Devon. Online at audidevon.com.
Looking to sell your house? Whether it's a case box, craftsman, 2 beds, 2 baths, full bath, half bath, no bath, which is kind of a fixer-upper, a newly renovated, a hardwood floored, a tile floored, or plain old dirt floored. Our agents know the market, the trends, and the insights to help you go from for sale to sold. When it comes to selling your home, we recommend what's right for you. That's the sign of a RE/MAX agent. Visit RE/MAX.com to find your home agent now. Each office independently owned and operated.
Your business needs a big marketing push, but it looks like a scary investment. I lost a lot of sleep. I wasn't sure it was going to work. I was worried about losing a lot of money. Dean Bagnozzi from a better financial plan. I've been working with KYW News Radio for about 2.5 years now. I spent 4 times the money that I started with them. It's been the greatest sales team I've ever hired. My business has quadrupled. KYW reaches 1 in 5 Delaware Valley adults every week. I market on social media, on television, on other radio stations, and all of those other marketing combined don't equal the results I see with KYW News Radio. Choosing a station with monster reach and attentive listeners is the modest as your risk, and you're getting the job done. Letting prospective clients and customers know about what you can offer in an information-rich environment. Dean Bagnozzi's story could be yours. Call 215-238-4977 to speak directly with the General Sales Manager of KYW News Radio. That's 215-238-4977. It's a constant barometer of the Delaware Valley economy index from Bloomberg. Heard every weekday on KYW News Radio during KYW Business Reports. It's a snapshot of how Philadelphia area companies are performing on Wall Street. Listen for the update, sponsored by Beneficial Bank. True to our name since 1853.
We have a severe thunderstorm watch for the KYW listening area through 10 tonight. Also, a flash flood watch for portions of Chester, Bucks, Berks, Montgomery, and also Pocono. That's the 11. Here's why. Tonight, overnight thunderstorms, and some of them could be rather strong, maybe even severe. Below down to 72. KYW News Time, 7:10. A lawyer for a Bristol man charged with the shooting of a 19-year-old back in May says they're prepared to argue that the shooting was in self-defense. The story from KYW's Jim Melvin.
40-year-old Gary Goddard was attempted murder charges for shooting his eye Sean McDuffie in the head on May 4th. His lawyer, Blake Jackman, says on the night in question, his client saw a 6'4", 330-pound 19-year-old on top of his son beating him.
The defense in this case is that Mr. Goddard is not a criminal, but a concerned father who is protecting his son.
Goddard was in court for a failure. He was originally charged with McDuffie's murder, but an autopsy showed the fatal shot was fired and the charge was changed to attempted murder. Judge Alan Rubenstein set bail at $1 million. Working out whether or not he killed McDuffie. A gunshot to the head shows Goddard intended to kill him. It happened his friends and family gathered for prom pictures. McDuffie and Tommy Ballard were both shot and killed. Joseph Williams is charged with both of the murders. In Doylestown, Jim Melwood, KYW News Radio.
KYW News Time, 7:12. Time for traffic and transit on the twos.
There's still plenty of delays on this Friday. This report sponsored by Credit Karma. Now, if you are on the 422 eastbound, they had a disabled vehicle. If you're heading into King of Prussia, it was right around Route 23. Now, they moved that off to the side. Little residual delay remains. Now, once you get past there, you're not at all in the Schuylkill until you get to Conshohocken. It's slow from that point to Belmont, heavy again from City Avenue down to University. Westbound side flows from Passyunk to Vine, heavy again from the Boulevard out to the Conshohocken curve. On the Blue southbound, still a little delay around Broomall, but the heaviness is approaching Route 1 and continuing just past the exit, and a little delay before McDade. On 95 in Delaware County, much better. We are still seeing delays northbound around 452, but then jammed from the airport to Broad Street. Now, a lot of that volume heading down over the stadium complex for 2 separate concerts in the stadium area. Now, southbound 95 is crawling from the expressway to the Walt Whitman Bridge. Maximum in the left lane there, and then heavy again getting off of Broad. Flat Bridge is heavy heading between the airport and South Philadelphia as well. On the Vine, your flow between 8th Street and the Schuylkill both ways. 95 southbound heading to 73, that would be the Bridge Street exit down to Girard. And northbound, you're jamming right around Woodhaven Road. That's because of construction. In New Jersey, special delays 42 southbound around 55. But not bad at all heading down the expressway and Garden State Parkway if you're going to the shore. Mass transit's okay too. Get your truly free credit scores. Free credit monitoring from Credit Karma. Download the Credit Karma app today. Credit Karma, get knowing. I'm Brian Ramon in the Shore Financial 24-hour traffic center.
And how would you like to try an app that could change all of that? Go to tackle.com today. Your house cleaned, handyman work done, junk hauled away, yard mowed, furniture rearranged, and hundreds of other chores checked off your to-do list. Tackle connects you to background check providers who can show up ready to work in an hour or two. There are over 400 free-priced chores to choose from. If you're ready for some downtime, then get Tackle. Download the Tackle app for free at your favorite app store. Order online at tax.com. Get help in hours, not days, and every job is backed by the Tackle 100% satisfaction guarantee. So what are you waiting for? Go to tackle.com now. That's TAKL.com and get your to-do list done. It's the 2018 Summer of Jeep event going on now at Lansdale Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram on Route 309 in Montgomeryville. Jeep delivers summer fun and freedom with their legendary capabilities of Compass, Grand Cherokee, and Renegade. Right now, get up to 6 months of free Apple Music with select vehicles, or check out the 2018 Chrysler Pacifica Hybrid with a $2,000 cash bonus. So if it's fun or family, it's the most exciting sales event of the season. Hurry in today to Lansdale Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram on Route 309 in Montgomeryville, or visit ijeep.com. That's ijeep.com.
And now, here's your CBS 3 eyewitness weather forecast. We have a severe thunderstorm watch for the KYW listening area through 10 to